I do have a firearm
Okay.
on me.
Don't reach for it then. Don't pull it out. Don't pull it out.
The industry is using black kids as weapons of mass destruction.
Yes.
That's what's happening. And so
Yes.
they're using black kids to further the destruction of the black community.
Yes.
And at that point, I'm not gonna win that battle by myself, but I definitely will say something about it.
It took just seconds for a routine traffic stop to turn deadly. And today, graphic video of the encounter was made public just a few days after a Minnesota police officer was found not guilty of manslaughter. Rhea Villarreal reports.
The newly released dashcam video shows the moment when Officer Geronimo Yanez stopped Philando Castile for a broken taillight last July, first asking Castile for his license and registration.
I have to tell you, I do have a firearm on me.
Don't reach for it then. Don't pull it out. Don't pull it out.
Within 90 seconds of making the stop, the 29-year-old officer fired 7 shots. Castile's girlfriend, Diamond Reynolds, was in the passenger seat. She streamed the immediate aftermath on Facebook Live.
I told him not to reach for it. I told him to get his hand out.
You told him to get his ID, sir, and his driver's license. Oh my God, please don't tell me he's dead. Please don't tell me my boyfriend just went like that.
Keep your hands where they are, please.
Yes, I will, sir. I'll keep my hands where they are.
As Officer Yanez continued to point his weapon at Castile, you can see an officer coax and pick up Reynolds' then 4-year-old daughter, who was in the back seat during the shooting.
Get the baby out of here!
Yanez was quickly suspended from the St. Anthony, Minnesota Police Department and soon indicted for manslaughter. During the trial, Yanez said he feared for his life and thought Castile, a 32-year-old school cafeteria worker, was pulling out a gun he was licensed to carry. Friday, the jury acquitted Yanez of all charges. Valerie Castile is Philando's mother.
My firstborn one son died here in Minnesota. Under the circumstances, just because he was a police officer, that makes it okay. Oh, now they got free reign. He's found innocent on all counts.
Castile family members were reportedly stunned when they saw the video during the trial. And Anthony, according to their attorney, they are planning to file a lawsuit against the city as well as the police department here.
Maria, thanks.
Cheap Cali. Really late. You ever been strong enough to put your life on the line? Stand up for something you really believe in, man. It's unbelievable how our people are so scared. We won't stand up for anything, but we'll fall for everything. Scared to put your life on the line, huh? I put my life on the line every day for the real shit. Only hating ass niggas won't feel this. Real niggas stand up when you hear this. It's still a marathon, nigga, king dip shit. Chin up, chest out, fight to the end. You ain't banging on the system, who you banging on in? Every rap nigga swear they the realest, till it's time to stand up and bang out for the future of the kids. Life's on the line every day for this real shit. Only hating ass niggas won't feel this. Real niggas stand up when you hear this. It's still a marathon, nigga, king dip shit. Chin up, chest out, fight to the end. You ain't banging on the system, who you banging on in? Y'all niggas all talk, y'all scared since y'all won't stand up and fight. Better believe that I will. I ain't watching my words, ain't biting my tongue. Ain't losing no sleep, I ain't gaining no words. Nigga, ain't been silent since the day of my birth. If I stand anywhere, it'll be on my word. They say that the truth I heard, the nigga show love. I hit dog, I holler, nigga, so what? Put these rappers in the trash for religion and Trump, cause the music that they be making ain't for us. Niggas still glorifying that lame shit. Misleading the youth with that gang shit. And that trap or die is a trick and lie for an early sale in the grave pit. Real shit, I'ma say the shit that y'all won't say. I'ma make the song that y'all won't play. When I'm gone down the line, they be telling the youth I still for the truth before I find a car one day. Going hard through the pain of the system. My life on the line every day ain't simple. Man, I went to war with the man in the mirror. Speaking that truth to feed the vines of the mental. Want a meal, get missed, no way, get lost. I ain't never been worried about beef. I'm from Cleveland, nigga, I'm a real ass Indian. Tribe like Nietzsche, I'ma die as a chief. I put my life on the line every day for the real shit. Only hating ass niggas won't feel this. Real niggas stand up when you hear this. It's still a marathon, nigga, king dip shit. Chin up, chest out, fight to the end. You ain't banging on the system, who you banging on in? Every rap nigga swear they the realest, till it's time to stand up and bang out for the future of the kids. Life's on the line every day for this real shit. Only hating ass niggas won't feel this. won't stand up and fight, better believe that I will. What the fuck are we? Who the fuck are we? How the fuck are we? Why the fuck are we? Still confused, cause as far as I can see, we still choose to accept this fuckery. At first I didn't agree, now I kinda see what Kanye meant about the choice of slavery. How you ever gon' face reality? Grown as hell, believing books and make-believe. Talking snakes and even burning bushes too. You believe in that more than you believe in you. But believe in the Wizard of Oz too. Believe in anything, but ain't seeking to find truth. Fight for the youth, what I've been about. I refuse to be the reason that our kids die. When I'm gone, they'll say that I did try. I put the small truth up against my big line every day for the real shit. Only hating ass niggas won't feel this. Real niggas stand up when you hear this. It's still a marathon, nigga, king dip shit. Chin up, chest out, fight to the end. You ain't banging on the system, who you banging on in? Every rap nigga swear they the realest till it's time to stand up and bang out for the future of the kids. Life's on the line every day for this real shit. Only hating ass niggas won't feel this. Real niggas stand up when you hear this. It's still a marathon, nigga, king dip shit. Chin up, chest out, fight to the end. You ain't banging on the system, who you banging on in? Y'all niggas all talk, y'all scared since y'all won't stand up and fight. Better believe that I will. Life's on the line.
Where my motherfucking real niggas at? The ones that be where I be, the ones that go where I go, the ones that see what I see, the ones that see our conditions and they get fed up like me. My niggas straight from the gutter, my niggas straight out the streets, my niggas that done did dirt, but trying to clean that shit up. My niggas used to be sleep, but they done woke the fuck up. Been in the same place forever, we living stuck at the bottom. That's cause we entertain bullshit and we look over knowledge. Who gon' be the example? Who gon' stand up for truth? Hey, who gon' teach them? Who gon' lead them? Who gon' ride for the youth? We gotta teach them integrity, teach them how to be proud. Don't only teach them to live, gotta teach them how to survive. So much shit we can challenge, but it's hella shit we don't know. Learn the laws of the land, look in the code and tell pro. But some shit you gon' learn, you gon' have to keep on the low. That's simply for our protection, cause sometimes silence is gold. To my niggas that died and they came right back resurrected, that's when you met your higher self and you were specially selected. I just wanna see change, see my people get free. Some was put here to follow and some was put here to lead. Hey, some was put here to learn and some was put here to teach. Some was put here to listen and some was put here to speak. Yeah, I know who I am and what I'm here to do in life, cause every day I'm in my purpose. I was put here to inspire. I know the radio won't play this shit, but I'ma still do it. I'ma go against the grain with this conscious ass music. No, the haters don't like it, yeah, but I'ma still do it. I'ma keep cracking they head with this conscious ass music. No, the radio won't play this shit, but I'ma still do it. I'ma go against the grain with this conscious ass music. No, the haters don't like it, but I'ma still do it. I'ma keep cracking
Halito. Mic check, mic check, mic check. What's happening, everybody? Good morning, good morning. Top of the morning to the tribe, man. What's happening? Peace to the tribe checking in. Y'all let me know if y'all can hear me. Y'all let me know if y'all can hear me okay or whatever. And shout out to all of y'all up early this morning. Early this morning, getting ready to get your day started. Or whatever you got going on, getting them kids up, ready for school, them grandkids, all of that. All right. So I wanted to do this live, and let me see who all up in here. My sister Sonya, shout out to you early morning. Shout out to the tribe, man. In here early this morning. Lorraine is in here. Lady E is up in here. What's happening with you? I see my sister Exclusive is up in here early this morning. Let me say this, man. It feels good to know that you have people in your family or in your circle, um, you know, who will pull your coattail. When they feel like you're, you know, losing yourself a little bit. You get what I'm saying? It feels good to know that you do have people in your circle or around you who care enough about you to tell you the truth about yourself when you don't see the truth or understand the truth about yourself, and they're willing to even hurt your feelings to tell you, hey, you're losing yourself, or hey, you on some bullshit, or hey, you need to get back focused. Things like that. So I had a great conversation with my parents last night, and I just realized I'm losing myself with all this saga shit and all this unnecessary stuff. All this unnecessary trolling and this and that, and I'm losing myself. But it feels good to know I got people that say, hey, listen, we believe in you enough to call you out and tell you, like, you need to get back focused, man. Like, you losing yourself. Like, we may not even agree with everything you be talking about, but somebody does. There are people who do, and you're kind of losing yourself. You're unfocused, basically. So I got to make some changes with myself, y'all. Shout out to the people that actually care about me, enough to even try to, pull me back in and say, man, you're better than what you're doing. You're better than what you're seeing. You're better than how you're talking, how you're speaking. So I just want to say shout out to the people who have those type of people in your circle or in your families who care enough about you, or in your relationships who care enough about you to say, hey, come on, man, get it together, man. Like, so if you have those type of people in your circle, you keep those people close, man, and you value what those people say. Okay. I wanted to touch on this topic today, right? So I've been seeing the Arthur McNeil story. Is his name Arthur? William McNeil story go around. The guy who got stopped down in Jacksonville, um, in the police stop. Now, before I go into this live, again, I want to say this. I'm not like everybody. I don't thank you, Sonya. I'm not like everybody. I don't think like everybody. Okay, so I'm not one who jumps out the window when I see these videos. I'm not one who runs around here blaming the white man for everything. I'm not one who's out here screaming white supremacy. I'm not that. I'm not that. I'll give you an example. The way I think, man, is you can't just give me something on the surface and I just run with it. All right. Now, the Carmelo Anthony situation, I can start there. So many people was ready to just jump out the window and say, "Oh, it was self-defense and da 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 da" for this guy. I'm still one who doesn't believe self-defense, and I was one who said, "How did we even get to somebody being stabbed at a track event?" Nobody wants to look at how we got here. They just want to deal with what they see right in front of them. You know what I'm saying? They just want to deal with the stabbing. And I was one who said self-defense don't sound right to me, because how did this guy even end up with a knife in his backpack to be able to put his hand in a bag, pull a knife out and stab somebody? Nobody wants to talk about choices, decisions that we make as a people. Now, fast forward, a lot of people have now changed their stance, because now you can't get around how did we get a knife in the bag to even be stabbing somebody. Now you can't get around it because he's been indicted with first degree murder. He's been indicted on first degree murder, and guess what? How he got that, how did the knife get there, is a part of the court case. It's a part of it, which means there was a bad decision made in the beginning, long before the stabbing happened. But people don't want to look at the bad decisions that led up to the stabbing. They just want to look at the stabbing and say, racist white cops, racist white boys, racist this, racist that. But they don't want to say, whoa, that's a bad decision to put that knife in your bag, bro. Whoa, that was a bad decision to leave your house with that knife in that bag, bro, headed to a school event. Whoa, bad decision. Bad decision. Whoa, that's a bad decision to come across that threshold onto a school campus with a deadly weapon in your backpack, bro. Like, nobody wants to talk about how did we get here? How did we get to point B? They want to ignore point A, which was full of choices and decisions. Bad decisions, might I add. Okay, so when I first heard the Carmelo Anthony story, I go back. I'm like, how did we get here? How did we get to B? We can't get to B without first going through A. What happened in A? All right. I'm also a type of person where when I'm listening to stories and stuff, I'm the type where I watch the story as if I'm watching it where I got a play and a pause button. Play and a pause button. Because I walk through the story slow. Play, pause. All right, pause it right there. Okay, I'm done with that point. Hit the play button again. All right, pause it right there. I got questions about this. I'm that type of person. That's how my mind works. I don't just jump to the end, the situation. I'm trying to walk, and to be honest with you, when people are doing investigations, when law enforcement are doing investigations, guess what? They're not just going to start here. They're not just going to start at the incident. They're going to walk back and walk forward. That's how I do. They're going to walk back and see, how did we get here? That's how my mind works. So you got a lot of people that will see a clip of a video or hear a story and say, oh, racist, 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 and they be ready to tear up their city, tear up their town. So this is where my opinion becomes an unpopular opinion, and I get called all kind of names. I get called I'm a race traitor. I get called you're a coon, you cooning for the white man, all because I choose to think and say, I'm not jumping to no race shit. I want to know what kind of decisions could this have been avoided? Could the situation that happened, were there decisions that could have been made to avoid what happened in the end? Which brings us to this William McNeil situation. Now, the other day, I came in my sister Morris chat, and they were discussing this. I never got through the whole. I never got through her whole live. I popped in for a little bit, and I left. At first glance, what I saw, I was in the chat, and I said, "Whoa, that don't look good. That don't look good. Like that don't look good for them officers. That don't look good for those officers. That's interesting. Like." All of that necessary? That was my first initial, thoughts. Was all of that necessary? Some of y'all may feel it wasn't necessary. All right, off of what you saw. But I'm also in same way in the Carmelo Anthony case. My mind works a different way. That was just my first initial whatchamacallit, my first initial glance at the story. Now, as I listen a little further, now there's, as a matter of fact, let me pull up, because I never heard, to this day, right now, I never heard what the guy said, okay? So let me pull up him. I want to play what he said. All right, because I got a couple videos I'm going to play. And I'm going to give you my unpopular opinion. Now, we don't have to agree. We can agree to disagree on things. Let me get the video up. We don't have to fall out with each other because we don't agree. I'm just telling you how my mind works. Okay, when it comes to shit like this, when it comes to things like this, I gotta start trying to watch my profanity, y'all. My mama said you cuss like a sailor, boy. I want to see this is my first time right now, is my first time listening to this guy's explanation. And I'm going to tell y'all this. I see he's standing there with, oh boy, here we go again, Ben Crump, a race baiting ass, excuse me, y'all, a race baiter, civil rights activist. He's the modern day Al Sharpton when I was growing up. He's the modern day him. So the fact that me seeing that guy standing there, it's just you don't have to feel how I feel about him, but I instantly say joke. I instantly say joke. Let's hear what this guy has to say, because this is my first time hearing this. I already know we're going into some race shit with this guy. Hold on, y'all.
Officer during today, we are hearing from the man who was punched by a police officer during a traffic stop in Jacksonville. CBS Miami morning anchor Betty Nguyen is here. And Betty, that man was joined by his family and civil rights attorney Ben Crump.
Yes, that's right. Just over an hour ago, in fact, we got our first look at 22-year-old William McNeil Jr. after his violent arrest that you see here. It went viral. And he stood next to his parents while his attorney stated that some of his injuries are permanent. Now, his chipped tooth was still visible as he very briefly explained what happened.
That day, I just really wanted to know, why I was getting pulled over and why I needed to step out the car when I knew I didn't do nothing wrong.
Now, let me stop there. He said he didn't do anything wrong. Now, if we just watch his video that he put out that went viral, I would agree. That's what I saw the other night. It looked like he did nothing wrong. But is he telling the truth? If we go off of his video that he put out there, I would agree with him. He didn't do anything wrong. But is he telling the truth? Let's keep going.
I was really just scared.
We have audio, visual evidence, proof of what happened. Nobody has to narrate it for us. To the sheriff, respectfully, you can't justify this.
So this comes as we see a new angle of that traffic stop. Now, the sheriff released body cam video of the arrest. I want you to take a look at it.
Is there a reason that you're pulling me over? Yeah, absolutely. There's a reason why I'm pulling you over. For one thing, inclement weather, you don't have your lights on. Two things, you're not wearing your seatbelt.
It's daylight. I don't need the lights. And it's not weather. It's not raining.
Oh, this is inclement.
It's not raining.
Okay, I'm not arguing with you. I'm telling you why I'm pulling you over. Give me your driver's license, registration, proof of insurance.
No, call your supervisor.
Step out of the vehicle.
No.
Step out of the vehicle.
Okay, so after shutting his door, McNeil refused to exit his car and then kept requesting a supervisor. Officials say he was asked 7 times to step out of his vehicle, but he never did. Now, the state attorney's office.
He was asked 7 times. He was asked 7 times. Remember, I told you the way my mind works. The way my mind works, I hit the play button and I hit the pause button. I hit the play button, I hit the pause button. Okay, but we'll get into that. He said he did nothing wrong. But is he telling the truth is what I'm asking y'all.
None of the officers violated criminal law. The sheriff is also defending his deputies, and that deputy seen punching McNeil. He is on paid administrative leave pending an internal investigation. As for McNeil, he pleaded guilty to resisting a police officer without violence and driving with a suspended license. However, his attorneys say
he pled guilty. Wow, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. But let's keep going. He pled guilty. He pled guilty. That's interesting. I didn't know that. All right, let's go.
Attorneys say police stopped McNeil over bogus claims of driving without headlights in broad daylight and not wearing a seatbelt when video shows.
Okay, hold on. Let me rewind it back. So they told him he was pulled over. They gave him his reasons of why he was pulled over, and we're going to get into this.
Driving without headlights in broad daylight and not wearing a seatbelt when video shows he was wearing a seatbelt.
Digital Storm workstations are built for development.
Okay, yeah, that's fucked up. That's messed up. Nat, what's happening with you? Good morning. That's messed up. Because he definitely was in the seatbelt. or was he in the seatbelt? Or was he? How many times have y'all been riding down the street and y'all ride by the police and you see them turn their lights on and you ain't have a seatbelt on, and then you instantly put your seatbelt on? I ain't making no excuses. I just know shit I've done. I just know things that I have done. All right. Get past that police officer, you see them lights come on and you trying to slide that seatbelt on because you didn't have one on. So Is it? I'm just asking this question. We don't have to agree. I'm just asking the question, is it possible when they saw him, he didn't have any headlights on and he didn't have a seatbelt on at that moment that they saw him? Is that a possibility? Is all I'm saying. Is all I'm saying. But regardless, there were reasons for the traffic stop, it looks like. But remember, this guy said he did nothing wrong. All right, so I'm going to pull up this next video. I got two videos I'm going to play. I'm going to play one from a regular YouTuber, and then I'm going to play one from a lawyer, from an attorney. All right. I watched this first one, but I haven't watched the second one. I like to try to listen to legal people or versus just YouTubers or TikTokers, people in their emotions. I like to listen to people who's going to give it to me from a law standpoint, what I'm listening to. You get what I'm saying? So this lady name is Melanie King, I think. All right. Well, Mama Bear, they say in the state of Florida, inclement weather means daylight or not. Inclement weather means rain, smog, fog, or bad weather. We'll get into it. All right. We'll get into it. Again, the way I think, it's probably going to be an unpopular opinion if you're somebody who can't stand white people, if you're somebody who is always looking to yell racism, if you're somebody, I'm going to have an unpopular opinion because I'm hearing certain things already. And I'm just getting started. So let's see. Let's watch this video. All right. But the reason they said, yes, it was daylight. But they said it was inclement weather. They said it was inclement. That was the reason they gave him, is it was inclement weather. It was raining. All right. So I'm gonna and this is what they say is the state of Florida laws. Okay, so I don't live in Florida. I've never lived in Florida. This is what they're saying. But I find it interesting that he pled guilty.
Guys, it has happened again. Now, some footage goes viral of a black man getting pulled over by police officers. One police officer decides to smash in his car window and hit him in the face, and that black man proceeds to get arrested. Now, many are screaming police brutality. This is America. This is so horrible. They're targeting a black man. And then later on, we get body cam footage that tells a drastically different story. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, you better. Yeah, you better.
And let me say this before I get started. The reason I'm doing this video is because people love to play on brown-skinned people's emotions. Now, remember, we're only watching that guy's video. And at first glance, his video does look bad. It does. But people love to, her name is Amala Ikpanobi, this content creator right here. Amala Ikpanobi. All right, so y'all go show this sister some love on her channel. People love to play on our emotions. Michelle, what's happening with you? People love to play on our emotions, and they love to use race to play on our emotions. I'm showing this video because this is how you'll go tear your city down. This is how you'll go burn up all the stores in your city behind a video like this. Okay? Again, this is just my opinion. I just want you to know what you're tearing your city down for. When y'all get ready to go out there and protest, I just want you to know why you burning down your grocery stores, why you're rioting in your city behind this story. So when you get ready to go out there, I just want you to know what you're dealing with when you go out there. Y'all was ready to go tear up y'all cities for I'm not sure about a false report. I'm not hip to how do they explain the false report signed off on. I'm not even hip to the false report. I haven't even got to a report yet. I haven't even gotten there yet. All right, so I got to see what you're talking about because I don't know. I don't even know about a false report. I hope that's not coming from a TikToker saying. I hope that information isn't coming from somebody on TikTok. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but we'll, you know, I'm watching this with y'all. All right. I want y'all to know what y'all burning y'all cities down for when they play this race stuff with y'all and to get you all in your emotions. Right now, we have only seen the guy in the cars video, but we also heard that he was told 7 times, 7, that he was under arrest and to get out the vehicle from the Walters. Who is the Walters? Who is the Walters? I don't know who the Walters are. Okay, I saw some of the Chiefs interview. Okay, so let's go from the Walters. Okay, I'm not sure who the Walters is. It came from the press from the Walters. Okay, I don't know who the Walters is. Okay, so let's get into the video. I just want y'all to know he was told 7 times, 7, to get out the car. He was under arrest. He was given his reasons that he was stopped. But let's go. Let's look into this.
Guys, today we're going to be telling the story of 22-year-old William Anthony McNeil Jr. And before we get into that story, please like and subscribe. Now, I'm going to show you the footage that I saw online. This has been going massively viral. This video that I'm about to show you has over 200,000 likes on X. And the caption says, "This is America. It's full of police brutality and racism, apparently." Let's watch the clip.
Exit the vehicle now. Exit the vehicle. Show me your hands. Here. I'm here. What is your reason, sir? What is your reason? Step out now. All right. No.
Now, this is the video I saw, and at first glance, I said, "Yo, this don't look good for them cops." And yes, they do have the video, Mama Bear, of them telling him 7 times.
Don't get on the ground. Put somebody. Put your hands behind your back. Put your hands behind your back. Hands behind your back. What's wrong with you?
Okay, so that is the video in question. And of course, you're seeing what is a minute of video out of context, if that. And I'm noticing, like, okay, this starts really out of nowhere. How did we get to?
Are you sure, Mama Bear? Well, that's all right. Okay. All right.
The car window getting smashed in? How did we get to him being hit in the face, him being pulled out of the vehicle? But I'm also seeing in the background a black police officer who is there. And I think he's one among maybe 4 or so who are, I guess, getting themselves involved in this incident. So maybe we wait around for some context before we start screaming, "This is America, this is police brutality." They're clearly targeting a black male who is unarmed. And I'm going to read you a couple more responses of people who decided to jump the gun on this and come to, I guess, some very incorrect assumptions.
Now, let me ask y'all that's in the chat and y'all got questions. Do y'all know? Let me ask y'all these questions. Do y'all know Florida laws? Not your emotions, not your feelings. Do you know the laws in Florida? And let me ask you this. Do you know what police in Florida are allowed and not allowed to do? Do you know what they have the right to do and not to do? Do you know the laws in Florida? And do you know what the police officers are allowed to do and not do? Is what I'm asking. I get it. You're watching this. This looks bad. This looks bad. I'm asking you, do you know any police officers in Florida and what they're allowed to do as a police officer and not allowed to do? So, because it has to go to court, right? It has to get in a courtroom. They had no. Are you sure that they had no right to hit him? Are you sure about that? Is all I'm asking. Aboriginal Power, what's happening, my brother? What's happening with you? I'm just asking, are you sure that they had no right to do what they did? I'm just asking. I'm just asking. Let's go. Let's get into the video. Absolutely sure, bro. Okay. Let's go.
Let's read some responses. Now, of course, we have the one that says this is America. Another one writes, honestly, after decades of treating the police like the military, giving them military weapons, and making them immune from prosecutions, what did we expect? Another one says they give us a reason every day not to trust them. The police are untrained. And someone responded to that, saying Trump is going to give police officers like this full immunity to break the law soon with 0 lawsuits. Okay. You know, I could see how somebody could see footage like this and go, wow, that seems like such a big jump to force to handle what seemingly was a routine traffic stop, although they didn't even have that context in this situation. But now I'm going to show you guys the body cam footage of what actually took place during this traffic stop. Now, mind you, this guy was pulled over for a very routine traffic stop. It was for his headlights and a lack of seatbelt. Now, this could have gone way smoother than it went, and we're going to see who's actually in the wrong here when we take a look at the body cam footage.
Is there a reason that you're pulling me over? Yeah, absolutely. There's a reason why I'm pulling you over. For one thing, inclement weather, you don't have your lights on. Two things, you're not wearing your seatbelt.
It's daylight. I don't need the lights. And it's not weather. It's not raining.
Oh, this is inclement.
It's not raining.
Okay, I'm not arguing with you. I'm telling you why I'm pulling you over. Give me your driver's license.
He said you're not wearing your seatbelt. Okay, let me go. Let me let this go. It don't. I can't see him, so I don't know if he. But he's talking to him right now. He did have a seatbelt on, but again, when did he put that seatbelt on?
Registration, proof of insurance.
No, call your supervisor. Why?
Excuse me?
Call your supervisor. Why did you pull me over?
35. I've already told you.
Why did you pull me over?
Step out of the vehicle.
No.
Step out of the vehicle. 25 seconds. For 94, the driver just slammed the door and locked it. I've already told you. Okay. Okay. Right now, you're under arrest for resisting. You understand? You're under arrest for resisting. The longer you take us on, the worse it's going to be. Open the door and exit, or we are going to break the window. Open the door and exit. You are under arrest for resisting. Open the door and exit. You are under arrest for resisting. Open the door and exit. You are under arrest for resisting.
Now, y'all, I'm going to pull up another video because y'all have some questions in this chat. I'm not a police officer. I have a cousin who's a police officer. I have cousins who are police officers, but I'm not a police officer. But I'm going to pull up another video. I'm going to show you a video from a police officer's point of view, and then I'm going to show you a video from a lawyer's point of view, a lawyer, an attorney's point of view too. Okay, so y'all are asking some questions, and I'm going to let them speak on that.
Open the door and exit. You are under arrest for resisting. I'm about to break the window. I'm about to break the window. All right, go for it. Exit the vehicle now.
I actually believe that was the supervisor that gave him the okay to bust the window, if I'm not mistaken. But let's go.
Exit the vehicle. Show me your hands. Clear.
1033 at 1521 hours.
What is your reason, sir? What is your reason? No, don't forget. Put your hands behind your back. Resist. Hands behind your back.
So there you go. He gets pulled over for a routine traffic stop. And instead of just listening and complying with the officer, he decides to go after him and be combatant and say, call your supervisor. What am I getting pulled over for? When he's asked to get out of the car, he refuses to get out of the car. When the officer approaches, he then slams the door and locks the door, which as a police officer, what are you meant to expect is happening behind that door? If somebody is told to get out of their vehicle and then they choose not to get out of the vehicle, that person could have a weapon in there. Now, after police officers arrested this man, they searched his vehicle and they did find marijuana and a knife. Now, there's no evidence or at least report saying that he intended to use that knife on police officers. But my goodness, had he just listened to the police officer at the jump when he was telling him what he was pulled over for so they could have a conversation and get his license and registration, he probably would have been just fine. But instead, he decides to lock himself in his car and refuses to listen to the police officer. He even says, I am going to break your window. He receives authorization to go ahead and break that window. He calls in for backup and multiple other police officers arrive at this scene in order to mitigate this entire situation that's created by a driver who chose to be non-compliant. But
let me ask y'all this. Why didn't he just comply? Why didn't he just comply? How did we get to somebody breaking your window? How did we get there? How did we get to somebody busting your window out? How did we get there? I get it. It happened. How did we get there, though? Were there some choices and decisions that could have been made to not get to the window being bust out and you getting punched in the face? That's all I'm asking. That's all I'm asking. Were there some decisions when they told him, you're now under arrest? You're now under arrest. Step out of the vehicle. And they told you why they stopped you. Could you have simply just complied and fought this in court if they're in the wrong? But he did. I feel where you're coming from. Let me see. I feel where you're coming from, Paul. But he did ask multiple times what he was pulled over for and got two different reasons why. Yeah, he got two. He said, I'm pulling you over for no headlights in inclement weather and you're not wearing a seat belt. That's what I heard. That's what I heard. He told you why you were being pulled over. One, you don't have on any headlights in inclement weather. Two, you're also not wearing your seat belt. That's why I pulled you over. What else do he need to say? It shows what though? It shows what, Needy? What does it show? Okay, I'm gonna let this play while you tell me what it shows. Okay. All right. You said it wasn't rain. Okay. I don't know the laws of Florida. I don't know the laws of Florida. I'm just asking you, when they pulled him over, okay, could he have made better decisions? And if they were in the wrong, could he have just fought it in court if they were wrong? If they were wrong, versus getting your window busted out and getting punched in the face, and then they finding marijuana and whatever else they said they found, a knife in your car. I don't know. It kind of makes sense to me why he didn't want to get out that car. I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna keep playing. This is just how my mind works. I'm just, 7 times is a lot of times to tell.
Yes, this guy gets cell phone footage of his car window getting smashed in and him getting hit in the face, and he gets to release that on the internet for all to see. And suddenly we're talking about police brutality and saying, this is America. We need to call in Childish Gambino to play that song again because the police are so racist against black men. It's absolutely ridiculous. And for the people who ran with this video and started posting and commenting and sharing without any context whatsoever, how do you feel now? If you're even seeing this, knowing that this individual was the one who was in the wrong. Now, they've even gone through an investigation process, and the officer is currently going through another one now, and they have found no evidence of wrongdoing, and they're still pending on the second investigation. But of course, the sheriff in this area, which is Jacksonville, Florida, had to go ahead and address everything that's been happening and talk about this situation because of this viral out of context video. Let's watch the clip.
Social media is not reality. One video clip devoid of context can be very misleading. Given that McNeil never brought this incident to JSO's attention, but rather pushed the cell phone camera footage that he had in his possession since March 5th out on social media, one can only assume, and I'm saying I assume, that he intended to inflame the public. The administrative process is still ongoing, and as such, I will neither defend nor commend Officer Bauer's response to resistance until all the facts are known.
So they said he had this footage for a minute. They said this guy has had this footage for a while. This wasn't something that just happened. He's had this for a minute. He's been sitting on this footage for a minute. Let's go.
And the investigation is completed. However, as the leader of this agency, I will not remain silent while important facts and information are buried to advance an anti-police agenda. The truth is, William McNeil Jr. was non-compliant with JSO officers within 21 seconds after he was stopped for multiple civil infractions. His non-compliance quickly rose to the level of criminal resistance to a police officer. McNeil was arrested and pled guilty to resisting a police officer without violence. Force absolutely looks ugly. And because all force is ugly, whether or not the officer involved acted within outside JSO policy, that's still what we're investigating.
So there you go. Even though it's very clear that Anthony McNeil Jr. is the one who placed himself in this position and had the incident go as far as it went, they're still going to look into the actions of that officer to see.
March 5th. He's had this footage since March 5th. He's been sitting on this footage since March 5th. They lied on the young man and falsified. I got to see this police report you're talking about. I don't know. I got to see this police report you're talking about.
Whether or not they comply with their guidelines as police officers. And this is what happens when you have a piece of footage that you know optically is going to promote a certain narrative and you decide to run with it. You see a white officer smashing the car window of a black man and hitting that black man in the face, and you just presume that it fits your narrative. The police officers are racist and they target unarmed black men. And now a black police sheriff, Sheriff Waters, has to come out and clear up this whole situation and talk about this out of context video that is.
Sonya. Nobody wants to talk about that. Nobody wants to talk about that. Nobody, I'm asking, how did we even get to your window getting busted out? How did we even get to your window getting out? I'm supposed to go tear my city up. I'm supposed to go burn my city down. I'm supposed to go riot because you had weed in the car, you had a knife in the car, and you chose not to be compliant. You didn't even have you had a suspended license also. So I'm supposed to riot in my city for you. Because you didn't want to comply and you got punched in the face. Okay, let's go.
Now thrust him and his police department into the limelight for what reason? No reason. Just because some guy decided I was going to post this out of context video online to promote my narrative that I did nothing wrong and that the police took this too far with force and with arresting me for resisting arrest in the first place. It's absolutely ridiculous. But this seems to be the cycle that we find ourselves in on social media. People have realized that they can weaponize these out of context video to promote their own narratives and their own politics. And then people who choose not to look into the story behind what they're watching sort of feed and fuel this fire that goes on to grow and grow and grow on social media. So now here you go. You force the hand of the police department to have to release the body cam footage in this instance. And now we know that William Anthony McNeil Jr., this 22-year-old who decided not to comply with police officers, is actually the one in the wrong.
Oh, your supervisor.
Shocker. Shocker. And guys, those are my thoughts.
All right, I'm gonna stop that there and let me pull up the next video. Now, okay, I'm not no police officer. I see what y'all saying in the chat. I'm just somebody who feels like, listen, man, I've been stopped many times, many times, and I always gave myself a chance to get back home, or I just always did. All right, like, so we're gonna watch this video with Officer Tatum because somebody called him out about his video that he made. All right, so let's see. This is somebody debunking Officer Tatum. All right, so let's get into this.
Because he's a bootlicking moron.
If you don't,
Tatum thinks that the officers used a proportionate amount of force for the situation because he's a bootlicking moron.
If you don't know what you're talking about, don't make a video about Brandon Tatum. That's it.
Michelle, I'm saying the same thing. I'm saying the same thing. I'm saying the same thing. It didn't have to get physical, Michelle. That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying, Michelle. It didn't have to get physical. You didn't have to get your window broke out. You didn't have to get punched in your face. If you would have simply just made the decision to comply. But you didn't want to. You had weed in the car, you had a knife in the car, you had a suspended license, and then you resisted arrest. I'm just saying, am I supposed to tear down my city and burn and riot for you? Yeah, I know. I know you don't like them, Mama Bear. I can't please everybody. I like them. I like them. I like them.
To make a video calling me a bootlicker and all kind of other stuff when you have no idea what you're talking about according to the law. You have no idea what you're talking about according to police interactions. You have no idea what you're talking about according to what you claim that I said and the positions that.
Michelle, I'm asking you. You're saying, what I'm saying is, despite what he got pulled over for was the reason for the the punching after breaking the window and punching after getting him out the car. Okay. So while you're asking that question, I'm going to again ask the question. How did we get to the window and the punching? We're both saying the same thing, Michelle. It didn't have to get violent. Me and you are saying the same thing. You're just jumping past the part that he could have made the decision to simply comply without his window getting broke and him getting punched. You're saying no matter what he got stopped for, you feel it wasn't justified for them to use the force that they used. We're saying the same thing as far as it didn't have to get physical. We're both saying the same thing. Only thing is, remember, I hit the play and the pause button. He was told to get out the car. He was told this, stop, play, pause. They told him 7 times. 1 time, get out the car. You're under arrest. The window ain't broke yet. That's a choice. He made a decision not to comply. 2 times they said, You're under arrest. We told you why you were being stopped. 2 times they told him. He made another decision to not comply. 3 times. Here comes another decision. Step out of the car. You're under arrest. That's 3 times. He made the conscious decision to not comply. I agree with you. It didn't have to get physical. Hell, after the 3rd time, he could have said, you know what, this could turn ugly. Racist white guys, they might try to kill me. Let me get the fuck out this car and just fight this in court. That's all I'm saying. But I get what you're saying. It didn't have to even get to, you're saying even if he didn't comply and it didn't have to get physical. They didn't have to bust out his window. You're saying that's too much force. What I'm saying is it shouldn't even had to get to your window getting broken out. Had you made decisions that didn't lead to that. But that's not what people want to hear. We only want to get to the part of the window being broke. We don't want to deal with 1 time you was told to get out the car, 2 times you was told to get out the car, 3 times you was told to get in between every one of those decisions. So if I say 1 time you was told to get out the car and I say, hey, stop the story right there, what is he going to do? Is he going to get out the car? Is he going to get out the car? All right, well, he didn't get out the car that time. Hit the play button. Let's keep going. 2 times you were told to get out the car. Hit the pause button. Is he going to get out the car? He has a decision to make. This is why I titled it My Unpopular Opinion. 2 times. All right, he didn't get out the car the 2nd time. Hit the play button. Let's go. 3 times. Get out the car. You're under arrest. 3 times. Did he get out the car? He made a decision. Nope, I ain't getting out this bitch. Nope. I got weed in here. I got a knife in here. And I ain't got no fucking license. I'm not getting out this bitch. 3 times they told you to get out the car. So he made a conscious decision not to get out the car. Hit the play button. Let's keep the story going. 4 times they told you to get out the car. Did you get out the car? Nope. He made another conscious decision not to get out the car. The window ain't broke yet, Nichelle. The window's not broke yet. The window's not broke yet. And we're at 4 times where he could have made a decision not to get his window broke or get punched in his face. 4 times. We ain't even hit 7 yet. We ain't even hit 7 yet. That's all I'm saying. It didn't have to get physical. He could have made better decisions. If those police officers were out of pocket, take it to court. Go to court. Fight it. Don't fight it in the streets, is just what I'm saying. Like, that's just what I'm saying. You can listen, the part you're at, Nichelle, is the window getting busted out. I'm not even there yet. I'm still at 4 times they told you to get out the car. And you have 4 decisions to make at this point. I haven't even gotten to your window getting busted out yet. Your window hasn't even been busted out yet. Is all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Is could this have been avoided? I would have probably been like, these niggas look like they ain't playing, you know. Though I feel like they're wrong, fuck this. I'm going to court with this. I'm suing these niggas. Like, is all I'm saying. But you chose. Okay, let's keep going. Let's keep going. I ain't even got to 7 yet. I'm still at 4. The supervisor thing, I don't know, because I thought a supervisor showed up. He knew he had no license. He knew he had weed and a knife, and he still made the decision to escalate that situation. That's a decision. He made a decision. What was you going to do? The supervisor wasn't going to do shit but tell you, yeah, that's the law. In inclement weather, you have to have your headlights on. Okay, and that's why I was asking y'all, do y'all know the laws and do y'all know what these people can do and can't do? That's all I'm saying. I'm just saying, see, I don't even know the laws, is what I'm telling y'all, but I know decision making. Is all I'm saying. I know decision making. Guess what? Guess what? If he would have just stepped out the car, you're jumping. So where it's okay to go to violence over lights and not a seatbelt code violation? I don't know. What I'm telling y'all is this. This is what I'm telling you, Ken. Y'all are jumping to the violent part. Y'all are jumping to the violent part, but y'all are skipping over choices and decisions before the violent part happened. Y'all are skipping way, y'all jumping over all of these decisions he could have made before it got violent. It's all I'm saying. Choices, choices, choices. That's all I'm saying. Let's see. You say a man can have a plant and a knife. What's the problem? He sure can. I mean, he can do what he want to do. He can have a Uzi in that motherfucker if he wants to, Ken. He can have a Uzi in that motherfucker if he wants to. I don't get the point you're making.
That you said I took and didn't take. Listen, y'all, the system isn't broken, it's rigged. And if you're buried in debt, that's exactly how they want it to be. Big banks profit when you are desperate. Creditors win when you lose. But you don't have to play the game anymore. PDS Debt helps you take back control. They understand your specific situation and offer alternative solutions to becoming debt-free. Whether it's credit card debt or negative things about you. Heard of this guy before.
Let's go.
Research before you of the way on this video. This is the easiest debunking that I'm ever going to do probably in my life. If you don't know what you're talking about, don't make a video about Brandon Tatum. That's it.
Nichelle, let me get through these videos. And if you're still in here, I got time. I'll drop it. Just let me get through these videos, okay? And I'll try not to talk so much. So maybe you'll still be in here. All right. Let me run through the videos because I got another video I want to play too. So let me get through this. I'll try not to talk so much so it'll get on through.
Put your biases aside. Put your anti-police. I don't even know the name of his social media thing. It's Lackluster, I think is what it's called, which is pretty ironic because I'm getting ready to debunk this gentleman every step.
Hey, Ken. Hey, listen, my brother, that's a choice. Y'all, hey, listen, man, I'm almost 50 years old. I've always complied. Even when I was in the wrong, I complied, and I'm good. Like, I've been in some, man, every time I've been to hella jails, every time I complied. And I gave myself a chance to, I ain't never been beat up by the police. My window ain't never been bust out. I ain't never been struck with no taser, none of that shit. Cause I made decisions to comply, man. Like, so, I mean, listen, I don't know. Like, I guess. I teach my children to just comply. Just comply. Fight it in court. Fight it in court. Win, lose, or draw, fight it in court. Don't fight it in the streets. But let's go.
Of the way on this video. This is the easiest debunking that I'm ever going to do probably in my life. If you don't know what you're talking about, don't make a video about Brandon Tatum. That's it. Put your biases aside. Put your anti-police rhetoric aside. Do some research before you decide to make a video calling me a bootlicker and all kind of other stuff when you have no idea what you're talking about according to the law. You have no idea what you're talking about according to police interactions. You have no idea what you're talking about according to what you claimed that I said and the positions that you said I took and didn't take. Ladies and gentlemen, get this guy on the show. I'm finna debunk him every step of the way. Roll the clip.
Welcome back to the Lackluster channel.
What if one simple chew could turn constant itching into complete comfort?
Today's video is a response to the one I made yesterday. I released that video with the information that I had at the time, and since that video, The sheriff has released the body cam footage and has made a statement. Apparently, there's a police report out as well.
The cell phone camera footage that began viral circulation over the weekend does not comprehensively capture the circumstances surrounding this incident. Tonight, I'm sharing the footage from the body-worn cameras of the arresting officer, Officer D. Bowers, and two of the assisting officers, Officer D. Miller and Officer G. Curse.
We'll include some of that and review some of what Officer Brendan Tatum says on his Substack. Most of you know who he is and know that he can make some ridiculous claims. And in this case, it is no different. First, he claims that the full body cam has been released. And while most of the relevant footage has been posted, we have only been granted the opportunity to view the incident from a few angles that the sheriff's office decided to show.
The currently available information and play the relevant body-worn camera.
Second,
current relevant body-worn camera. That doesn't mean that they pick and choose and show you this angle and cut this angle. It's relevant, meaning the body-worn camera that's released that shows the incident at hand. That means that if you were involved in this incident, the body-worn camera was shown. If you had no involvement in this incident, there's no need to show the body-worn camera during a press conference. The first lie he made, roll it.
Tatum puts in bold lettering that JSO was justified in the force used against McNeil. He follows this statement by claiming that only the palm strike was being reviewed to determine whether it was in policy, and fails to mention the several other punches inflicted to McNeil despite agreeing to exit the vehicle.
Step out now. All right.
And placing his hands behind his back.
Behind your back. I'm resisting. Behind your back.
Within his defense of complete dog shit, he claims that nothing was criminal in the officer's actions. And sure, the DA hasn't filed criminal charges. But we
stop right there. The DA, the state district attorney's office, deemed, according to the chief, that there was no criminal action conducted by the law enforcement officers on scene, who watched the amateur video from the suspect and also watched the body-worn camera footage and all relevant footage that's made available. And they decided that there was no criminal activity. They decided there was no criminality, not Brandon Tatum. The state prosecutor said that it was no criminality. Now, when you can't, now if the state prosecutor said that there was criminality and the officers were wrong, Buddy over here would have said accepted it. But guess what he says about the prosecutor now that the prosecutor don't agree with him? Roll the clip.
The government to protect itself.
Oh, it
the
protects
DA
itself.
is often referred to as the county's top cop. No charges does not mean no criminal activity. Tatum correctly states that the law gives officers discretion to use reasonable force during arrests, but incorrectly adds that that's what we saw in the video. So,
time out. How is what I'm saying incorrect when the state prosecutor agrees with what I'm saying, and also the police chief agrees with what I'm saying, that there's no criminality afoot? He mentioned that he will continue the investigation of whether or not it was in department policy, which I wrote in my op-ed that he's referring to. But of course, he don't want to show that part because he's trying to make his own point, which is ridiculous. Roll it.
Before we watch the videos, let's discuss what reasonable force is and when officers are lawfully allowed to use it. We can start with the first body cam of the deputy that initiated the stop and compare it to Tatum's assertions. He claims that McNeil's headlights were not on and that he was not wearing a seatbelt. But the suspended license and having marijuana are facts that were only revealed as a result of an unlawful traffic stop conducted by JSO. The probable cause.
None of that is relevant. What I articulated in my op-ed is all of the circumstances surrounding his detention, arrest, and his resistance. So I don't have to separate the two when I'm talking about the totality of circumstances. All of those things he was found guilty of in the court of law. And then also, it does matter if a person is driving on suspended driver's license and they do have drugs on their person. Because what? It explains why he was resisting arrest and acting a fool. Wasn't because he didn't understand the law. It was because he didn't want to go to jail.
Look at the comment on the screen right now.
Therefore, you can paint the whole picture in totality of circumstances. Roll it.
As stated by the deputy, was that his headlights weren't on. But again, the law states during any rain, smoke, or fog.
Time out. Inclement weather, rain, smoke, fog. It also talks about sunrise, sunset. There's reasons that you have to have your lights illuminated. He did not have his lights on. He did not deny that his lights were not on. He did not skirt these charges when he went to court. Now they decided to keep him on the bigger charges and dismiss the other ones because the other ones were criminal. So you don't try to charge him with both. But he still was found responsible. He did deny responsibility. No one has said that the officers were wrong on the initial traffic stop. Why? Because I'm going to prove to you that this is inclement weather and it was raining. All right, Nick, let's get the exhibit ready because you're going to hear this guy talk about it. You see people say it online. It's the most asinine and ridiculous claim. It's because they hate police and they always want the police to be wrong. So they will make up anything. It wasn't raining. Look at this video. This is fresh rain droplets still hanging onto his vehicle. If somehow it wasn't inclement weather, which means it wasn't raining at all, you wouldn't still see rain droplets on his car. Inclement weather doesn't mean that it's only inclement at the instant that it's raining. And then if it stopped raining for 30 minutes or 30 seconds, then all of a sudden it's not inclement anymore. It's not just the rain. It's rain and rainy conditions. That's what the hazardous lights and putting your lights on is for, the conditions that's associated with rain. When it rains, visibility is lower. There's rain on the streets. People need to have better visibility when driving. That's what the spirit of the law says. That's why no one contested that he was pulled over rightfully. You would not have rain droplets on your car if it had not been raining. The ground is wet. It is raining, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe it stopped raining for a small period of time. That does not preclude the justification of having your lights on during inclement weather. All right, let's go back to the video.
None of which were present. And as to the claims of not wearing a seatbelt, the officer transmits over the radio that he didn't have any details about the occupant or occupants of the vehicle.
Hold on.
Prior to
having any details about the occupant or occupant's vehicle has nothing to do with visible observation of a seatbelt in a traffic light, or not having your lights on, not having, I guess, information.
What does it matter that I don't see your, like, I don't know who's in the vehicle? I'm looking at your car. I don't see no headlights on, and I saw you don't have a seatbelt on. I saw you don't have a seatbelt on. That's why you got pulled over. That's why you got pulled over. All right, so Nichelle, you keep jumping to the supervisor shit. You keep jumping to the supervisor shit. Okay.
About the people in the car means that I didn't get his driver's license. I didn't talk to him. I'm not sure if there's other people in the car. It's not that I didn't see him driving with no headlights on and no seatbelt before I pulled him over. Just for reference, he got pulled over. This is the result of him getting pulled over. This is where he stopped. The cop observed his lights not being on and observed.
I haven't seen this video, Nichelle, so maybe they'll get to the supervisor. Maybe we'll get a better understanding of the supervisor part. But I also have a lawyer also that I want to show y'all too. So maybe if he doesn't touch on it, maybe the lawyer will touch on it.
Him not having a seatbelt on, so he conducted a traffic stop. He pulled here and stopped.
I serve my country, and now I carry legally everywhere I go. Here's how. National.
What are we saying? The cop is pulling him over because of his observations of the no seatbelt, in which the suspect never denied. Roll the clip.
McNeil opening his door.
Needy, what if the person in the passenger seat was laid back? Maybe he just saw the driver. What if the person in the passenger seat was laid back? What if somebody was laying down on the back seat? You can't see somebody laying down on the back seat until you get up on the car. You can miss a person that's laid back in just leaning back in the passenger. If I'm leaning back in the passenger seat, I might miss you. I might think you was in the car by yourself because I didn't see the person in the passenger seat. It happens. It's possible.
Yeah, Florida 24 Bravo Echo Charlie Whiskey on a silver Kia. I know like this.
These two facts eliminate all probable cause for the entire stop, which means everything that occurs after this moment was unlawful.
Nisha, I just want to, you keep asking about the supervisor. I want to see if somebody addresses that because I haven't seen these videos. So I don't know if they're going to address that. That's all. That's what I was saying. I want to see if they, I'm curious if the lawyer, the video with the lawyer, I'm curious if he's going to address the supervisor part. So let me, I'm watching this with y'all. Actually, I'm watching this with y'all. I haven't seen these videos.
And only
it's a lie. I just disproved that. I just proved inclement weather pulled here and stopped. What are we saying? The cop is pulling him over because of his observations of the no seatbelt, and which the suspect never denied. Roll the clip.
McNeil opening his door.
Yeah, Florida 24 Bravo Echo Charlie Whiskey on a silver Kia. I know like this.
These two facts eliminate all probable cause for the entire stop, which means everything that occurs after this moment was unlawful.
Hold on.
And only
it's a lie. I just disproved that.
Hold on, and Nichelle, let me say this again. My thing is, Nichelle, my thing is, your fight ain't on the side of the road. You saying where's the videos of his observation and all that? If you feel like you were, go take it to court and prove that you were pulled over wrong. Take it to court. I don't know how you're gonna beat that. They do that to people all the time. They do that to people all the time. They pull people over all the time. You know how many people get pulled over for the failure to maintain lane? If they want to pull you over, they're gonna pull you over. You know, that's an easy way to pull somebody over, failure to maintain. They ain't gonna be able to prove you was failure to maintain. They're gonna say we was off in the cut and we noticed it when, but like they said, Nichelle, he didn't deny that his lights wasn't on. He didn't deny it. He didn't deny it, and nobody fought that part. Nobody fought the initial traffic stop. They didn't fight that. They didn't fight the inclement weather and the seatbelt and the inclement weather seatbelt and the whatever else, something else. The inclement weather seatbelt. They didn't fight those things. They're fighting the violent part. That's what they're fighting. They're not fighting the initial. He pled guilty to that shit. He pled guilty to all of that, Nichelle. So, I mean, he pled guilty to it. So he's admitting he was in the wrong.
I just proved inclement weather, which the court agrees with me on, and everybody with a brainstem does. And then I just proved that the seatbelt violation, the officer observed seatbelt violation. He was charged with all these things, and he did not deny any of these claims. He only denied that, well, it's not raining. That's not the totality of the inclement weather statute. But when he said you didn't have a seatbelt on, he didn't deny the seatbelt violation that one time. And then there's people that's going to say, well, they pulled the seatbelt off.
Let me run this back. Let me run this back. Let me run this back. This ain't the shit that he's fighting. This is not the shit he's fighting. It's the violent shit he's fighting. But what led up to the violent shit?
The cop is pulling him over because of his observations of the no seatbelt, and which the suspect never denied. Roll the clip.
McNeil opening his door.
Yeah, Florida 24 Bravo Echo Charlie Whiskey on a silver Kia. I know like this.
These two facts eliminate all probable cause for the entire stop, which means everything that occurs after this moment was unlawful.
Hold on.
And only
it's a lie. I just disproved that. I just proved inclement weather, which the court agrees with me on, and everybody with a brainstem does. And then I just proved that the seatbelt violation. The officer observed seatbelt violation. He was charged with all these things, and he did not deny any of these claims.
So that's not the fight here. He was legally pulled over. It was not unlawful. He didn't even fight it. He pled guilty to it. He pled guilty to these things.
Only denied that, well, it's not raining. That's not the totality of the inclement weather statute. But when he said you didn't have a seatbelt on, he didn't deny the seatbelt violation that one time. And then there's people that's going to say,
I see what you mean, Ken. I see what you mean, Ken. I see what yeah. I can see what you mean on that. I can see what you mean on that. I agree. You got to learn them laws. We that's one thing about us. We don't know the laws. We don't know what our rights are. I agree.
Well, they pulled the seatbelt off of him when he got out of the car. Yeah, because when he shut the door and was getting crazy and pulling his camera up, he put his seatbelt on. That's what he did. So he could say, look, I had my seatbelt on, but you didn't have your seatbelt on when you got pulled over.
That's what I was saying. He didn't have his seatbelt on. Now, I couldn't see it from that angle when the cop said, and you don't have your seatbelt on. Oh, I don't know about him taking a plea deal. I don't know. That's what I was saying earlier. You know how many times we done seen them lights come on and then we try to slide that seatbelt on because we know we might get hit with that seatbelt violation? So, yeah, he did have a seatbelt on when they broke the window, but when did he put that seatbelt on?
Echo Charlie Whiskey on a silver Kia. I know how this.
These two facts eliminate all probable cause for the entire stop, which means everything that occurs after this moment was unlawful.
Hold on.
And only
it's a lie. I just disproved that. I just proved inclement weather, which the court agrees with me on, and everybody with a brainstem does. And then I just proved that the seatbelt violation, the officer observed seatbelt violation. He was charged with all these things, and he did not deny any of these claims. He only denied that, well, it's not raining. That's not the totality of the inclement weather statute. But when he said you didn't have a seatbelt on, he didn't deny the seatbelt violation that one time. And then there's people that's going to say, well, they pulled the seatbelt off of him when he got out of the car. Yeah, because when he shut the door and was getting crazy and pulling his camera up, he put his seatbelt on. That's what he did. So he could say, look, I had my seatbelt on, but you didn't have your seatbelt on when you got pulled over. Roll the clip.
only occurred because the deputies on scene were untrained as to their profession. But even worse still is that the responding officer was not wearing a seatbelt, and several of the other backup units also failed to use their headlights. It's a good thing that
Time out. You can't make this up. The responding officer wasn't wearing a seatbelt. Well, police officers, anybody that know anything about policing, when you pull up to a traffic stop, many cops, when they hit the lights or whatever, they take their seatbelt off.
Yeah, and Ken, yeah, I actually have seen this where a lot of the officers don't know the law. I have seen instances where these officers don't know the law. I have seen that.
Police officers are exempt from traffic violation laws in certain circumstances. Why would an officer pull his seatbelt off while he's conducting a traffic stop? Because if suspect number one takes off running, you can get out of the car and react. If suspect number one pulls a gun on you, you can maneuver and react. Cops do not have to wear a seatbelt when conducting a traffic stop if they believe or deem that it is reasonable to take the seatbelt off for all these various reasons that I mentioned. And then when we talk about headlights, the lights and sirens control the lights of the vehicle. They control the lights of the vehicle. So when you turn your lights on, it takes over headlights, upper lights, and all kinds of lights. Also, officers are not obligated, depending on the circumstances, to follow traffic laws. They have to drive with due regard, and they have all of these exemptions that you can find right in the law. You can look it up yourself, or you want me to give you the chapter and verse, I can. But officers are not obligated to abide by all the traffic laws, especially when they're responding code 3, responding to an incident. That's why you can see a police officer sitting on the side of the road with no lights on. That's why a police officer can respond to the scene and go past the speed limit. If the officers had to abide by every traffic law, then they'll be in trouble right now because they were speeding to get to this thing. If a person decides to drive off from a police officer, they can't pursue because then they'll be breaking the law of going over the speed limit. There's exemptions from officers in the law depending on the circumstances, and these circumstances don't necessitate police officers to follow every traffic law. Roll the clip.
It wasn't unlawful to do so, but let's pretend that it was. And by refusing to identify here, McNeil was breaking the law.
Hey, if you conceal carry and you want to do so comfortably, you're probably going to be interested in this, the brand new Nimbus Gray Vanish holster.
Yes, sir.
Is there a reason why you're popping the door open like that?
I don't have a window that works. Is there a reason that you're pulling me over?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a reason why I'm pulling you over. For one thing, inclement weather, you don't have your lights on. Two things, you're not wearing your seatbelt.
It's daylight. I don't need the lights.
Damn. He told you why you were being pulled over. Right there. He told you why you were being pulled over. You disagreed. Okay, you think he's wrong. And he may be. All right, let's just say maybe. You think he's wrong. Take it to court. Make a decision. Take it to court. Right here, right here. You've been told why you were pulled over. You just don't agree with it. You don't agree with it. Okay. You have every right not to agree with it. And your window ain't busted out yet. Your window isn't busted out yet. Right here, you have a decision to make. Stop, play, stop, play. Right here, you have a decision to make. That's all I'm saying. Your window ain't busted out. You ain't been punched in the face. Nothing yet. Right here. When we stop the story, right here. This is the shit people don't want to talk about. People don't want to talk about this shit right here. Right here. Your window ain't busted. They told you why you were being pulled over.
Stop. It's daylights. I don't need the lights, and it's not raining. That's not, he's wrong, right? Daylight is not the parameters here. And then you can see rain droplets on his car. So while he was driving, it is raining. So none of that's a moot point. Roll it.
It's not raining.
Oh, this is inclement.
It's not raining.
Okay, I'm not arguing with you. I'm telling you why I'm pulling you over. Give me your driver's license, registration, proof of insurance.
No, call your supervisor. Why?
Excuse me?
Call your supervisor. Why did you pull me over?
35. I've already told you.
Why did you pull me over?
So I don't know if that's the supervisor he calling or if that's just backup. But he is asking for a supervisor. Maybe he'll address this. I don't know, because he is asking for a supervisor.
I don't need the lights, and it's not raining. That's not, he's wrong, right? Daylight is not the parameters here. And then you can see rain droplets on his car. So while he was driving, it is raining. So none of that's a moot point. Roll it.
It's not raining.
Oh, this is inclement.
It's not raining.
Okay, I'm not arguing with you. I'm telling you why I'm pulling you over. Give me your driver's license, registration, proof of insurance.
No, call your supervisor. Why?
Excuse me?
Call your supervisor. Why did you pull me over?
35. I've already told you.
He's not complying. Why? Let me tell you. Hold on. Let me get myself on the screen. Nobody wants to talk about this. Y'all want to skip over this. Why is he not complying? Probably because he has a suspended license. He made a decision. He made a choice, a decision on his own. Listen, before the police even saw him, before the police ever got in his life, this is what nobody wants to talk about. Before the police ever came into this man's life, he made a conscious decision to get behind the wheel of a car with a suspended license. Illegal. That's breaking the law in itself. But he made a decision to do that. His window ain't busted out. When he got in that car, with that suspended license and got behind the wheel of that car and started driving, his window wasn't busted out then. And there was no cops in his life, and he wasn't punched in his face at that point in time. He just made a bad decision right there. Many of us make that bad decision. Does it make it right because we make that bad decision? No. Right there. You got behind the wheel of a car with a suspended license and started driving through the city. You made a bad decision right there. Not only did you get behind the car with a with a suspended license, you also got in the car with some weed and a knife. Not only did you get in the car with a suspended license, some weed, and a knife, you also was driving in inclement weather with no seatbelt on. Definitely, Ashley. Definitely. He was going to jail anyway for the suspended license. Ask me how I know. And your car getting towed. And your car's getting towed. And your car's getting towed. That was going to happen regardless. You was getting out that car regardless. But you made a decision. Now, the decision to get behind the wheel of a car with a suspended license was your own fucking bad decision. Have I made that bad decision before? Yes. Guess what happened when I got pulled over and I got stopped? I said, fuck it, I'm caught. I went to jail because I made a bad decision to get behind the wheel of a car with no license. I made that conscious decision. When those officers, every time I did that shit, and those officers stopped me or I didn't have insurance, guess what I did? I just went to jail. I fucking went to jail. Like, I just went to jail. I complied. That's all I'm saying. I never had my window busted out. I never had a police officer tase me, punch me in the face. I went to jail, man. I just fucking went to jail. That was my bad decision. That's all I'm saying. Now, I'm just playing this because before y'all go burn y'all city down behind this guy, and before y'all let Benjamin Crump get y'all all in y'all emotions, I'm just saying this dude made some bad decisions before police was ever in his life this day. The moment he got behind the wheel of that car with that suspended license, he was in the wrong. Breaking the law. That was a conscious decision he made. That ain't had nothing to do with police punching him in the face and none of that. The moment he put that weed and that knife in his, whatchamacallit, that was a decision he made, man. So before y'all go tear y'all cities up, man, I'm just saying. And then he escalated the situation even more at this point. I'm just saying, I would have just he might not even have got his car searched if he would have just got out and just went to jail for that fucking suspended license. But he didn't want to. You know you got a suspended license. Why are you arguing with these niggas? Why? You know they're going to run your name and see your license is suspended. At that point, you are under arrest in most cases. At that point, you're going to jail. And your car, they're going to call a tow truck, or they're going to tell you to park the car and tell you to get somebody to come pick it up. I've been in both of those situations. They done towed my car, or they tell me to park it and get somebody to come pick it up. I've been in both situations. But I went to jail, though. I went to jail more times with a suspended license than I went to jail, didn't go to jail with a suspended license. So for the most part, the moment you got in that car, you took that risk of running into these police and possibly going to jail. What are you fighting for at this point? Because you got weed in that car, because you got a knife in that car. But did the police put that weed in your car? Did that police put that shit in your car? Nah. He could have. Listen. He could have said that. What does that mean? Oh, that's your problem. You didn't know your license was suspended. That's your problem. That ain't the police's problem. The fact is, in the computer, it's showing you're suspended, sir. You work that out with the court. You tell the judge you didn't know your license was suspended. But as of right now, you're going to jail. Your license is suspended. And if you start acting up, how do you put me on? That's going to make me think something's going on inside that car. And now I have reason to search that car. I'm just saying decisions. Oh, weed is legal in Florida? Oh, okay. Okay, I didn't know that. Okay. Well, maybe the weed wasn't a problem. Well, maybe the weed wasn't a problem, but that suspended license was a problem. It definitely was a problem. That suspended license was a problem in itself. If weed is legal, then that's out the question. I don't know about that knife, but that knife is a dangerous weapon that they reported was in that car. Now, I ain't heard nothing about no police report yet. So sis said something about a police report. I don't know where that came from, but let's keep going.
Step out of the vehicle. No, step out of the vehicle.
Specifically, this would be resisting, obstructing, and delay in Florida, as they do not have a refusal to ID law. Next, Tatum thinks that the officers used a proportionate amount of force for the situation, because he's a bootlicking moron.
The law requires that a person comply with the police officer's commands during a traffic stop.
To understand why, let's look at the law that Tatum fails to explain in his obvious GPT article.
Listen, this is what I'm going to say, whether we like it or not. The chief said the law requires that a person comply. That's what's going to come up in the courtroom. That's what's going to come up inside of the courtroom, what the law says. That's what he's going to be up against. The law says that you comply, and he didn't comply.
Reasonable force is determined by two cases, Graham v. Connor and Tennessee v. Garner. Together, they've created use of force guidelines for law enforcement.
Okay.
First, the court must judge the officers based on the Fourth Amendment's objective reasonableness test. This requires officers to base their use of force on the totality of the facts and circumstances. Here, the entire case for the deputies fails immediately due to the insufficient probable cause.
Hold on. The state attorney's office deemed that they followed the law and there was nothing criminal in their use of force.
Now, here again is what I'm telling y'all. We sitting here listening to YouTubers. This is what I'm talking about. You sitting here listening to YouTubers, but the judge ain't gonna listen to no YouTubers when they get in that courtroom. The judge ain't gonna listen to none of our emotions out here when they get in that courtroom. The judge ain't gonna listen to whatever we feel, our opinions out here on YouTube. The judge is gonna go by the law. That's what he's gonna deal with inside that courtroom. This dude is a YouTuber making a video. This is a dude in a YouTuber, not the judge.
Together, they've created use of force guidelines for law enforcement.
Okay.
First, the court must judge the officers based on the Fourth Amendment's objective reasonableness test. This requires officers to base their use of force on the totality of the facts and circumstances. Here, the entire case for the deputies fails immediately due to the insufficient probable cause.
Hold on. The state attorney's office deemed that they followed the law and there was nothing criminal in their use of force. Where is this guy getting his theology from? This is not something that hasn't been litigated yet.
He's getting it from YouTube University and people's emotions and people's feelings. All right. He's getting it from his own standpoint, viewpoint. But you're going to deal with the law when you walk in that courtroom. And right now, we got a dude that pled guilty to his traffic stop.
This is not a brand new occurrence. This happened in February. He brought his complaint like a couple of days ago or whatever when he released this video. This was investigated internally, investigated from the state's attorney's office, and they deemed that there is nothing there. Now you could say Graham versus Connor and the use of force case law, but none of that applies here clearly because they were all deemed to be acting according to the law within reason.
We know that when you have a vehicle, you're able to do the things you need and you love. That's
Roll the clip.
Echo Charlie Whiskey on a silver Kia.
Now, y'all remember at the beginning of this, right? At the beginning of my live, we watched the guy get on the microphone, and he said he did nothing wrong. That's what he told when he was standing there with Ben Crump. He said, I did nothing wrong. Now, if we looked at his video, it did seem like he did nothing wrong. But we're clearly seeing he's done a lot of things wrong. Even before the police got in his life, he did some wrong shit, which led up to his window getting busted out. But it didn't have to even get there. It didn't have to. There was many decisions that could have been made to where the police didn't even get in his life that day. But
I'm not going to say.
But if the vehicle extraction was lawful, the amount of force used must take into consideration the severity of the crime, whether the suspect poses an immediate threat, and whether they were actively resisting or attempting to flee. By now, you may have heard that McNeil had a knife, but who the fuck doesn't? It was never in his hand, and upon review of the video, he never even reached for it, despite
Hold
the...
on. Who, like, this is the thing that people don't think about with him. He has a big serrated knife that's probably 12 inches long on his floorboard. Who rides around with a knife like this? It's not reasonable to have a knife like this. People in the comment section or anybody watching this, how many of y'all drive around with a hunting knife this big laying on your floorboard? Nobody carries a knife like this. Does that mean he can't? But that also speaks to his character and speaks to the danger that was present when they were conducting the traffic stop. Who knows? He probably wanted to pick it up and stab the officers, but he didn't have the courage to do it. You don't know. But this is a dangerous, deadly weapon that he has right on the floorboard. And if you watch what he's doing, he's not cooperating for a large majority of the video that he did not play. All the times when he shut the door and the cop was like, you're under arrest, get out the car, get out the car. Who knows? He could have pulled that knife from somewhere else. You can't see what he's doing in the car. That knife could have not even been there. The knife could have been in the back seat. The knife could have been on the passenger seat. And he pulled it over there and put it on his foot. You know, like, these things do matter in the totality of circumstances. That's how irrational this guy was in the present danger that the officers were in. Just say that this is a deadly weapon. Just say it was a gun. It's the same premise. Well, he wasn't reaching for the gun. But he got a gun right there that he could pick up and use against the cops. He got a knife he could use against the cops. These things do matter in the totality of circumstances when you're evaluating this circumstance. Roll it.
Officers' lies on the police report. But we'll return to that point in a minute. McNeil was at best passively resisting an unlawful arrest and never attempted to flee. And the severity of the crime was so incredibly low that nearly every officer that responded to the scene was in active violation of the same law McNeil was originally pulled over for. No headlights, no headlights, no headlights. Not to mention that one...
That doesn't matter. I already said it is exempt. But when it comes to saying that a person is passive aggressive, this guy, the thing that reasonable people in the courts look at is, what is the officer's observation of what's happening? If a person is just sitting there like this, that does not mean that they're not a threat. The threat level is that the person is non-compliant for the last X amount of time.
now I just real quick, I just messaged my cousin, who is an active police officer right now, and I'm gonna work on seeing if he'll go live with me and we can talk about this from a police, so we can hear something from a police officer's standpoint. All right. I know some of y'all got questions. I just kind of want to see, if he'll come on. I just messaged him, so let's just see if he'll come on.
When they knock the window out, if the officer want to stun him while they're trying to open the door, that's nothing wrong with that. You can stun the guy to get him disoriented, to get him out back, so you can unlock the door.
Let me rewind this back. Now we're dealing with the violent part. Let me run this back a little bit. Now we're dealing with the violent part. All right. So let me run this back a little bit.
Deadly weapon that he has right under on the floorboard. And if you watch what he's doing, he's not cooperating for a large majority of the video.
Now you're listening from an officer's standpoint. You're listening to this from an officer's standpoint. Somebody who's been out there in the field. They've been out there, but I'm gonna also go to a lawyer's standpoint too.
He did not play. All the times when he shut the door and the cop was like, "You're under arrest, get out the car, get out the car." Who knows? He could have pulled that knife from somewhere else. You can't see what he's doing in the car. That knife could have not even been there. The knife could have been in the back seat. The knife could have been on the passenger seat, and he pulled it over there and put it on his foot. You know, like, these things do matter in the totality of circumstances. That's how irrational this guy was in the present danger that the officers were in. Just say that this is a deadly weapon. Just say it was a gun. It's the same premise. Well, he wasn't reaching for the gun. But he got a gun right there that he could pick up and use against the cops. He got a knife he could use against the cops. These things do matter in the totality of circumstances when you're evaluating this circumstance.
I might want to. Okay, shit. That might be a good conversation if I can get Miss Glenn and my cousin on here together. That might be an interesting live right there.
Let's roll it.
Officers lies on the police report, but we'll return to that point in a minute. McNeil was at best past.
No, Miss Sean, that's why I said, what up, Miss Sean? What's happening with you? That's why I said I'm also gonna go from a lawyer standpoint too. The guy should have been compliant, however, he was not a threat. Okay. All right. So I that's why I said I'm not just gonna play Tatum's, because I want to show he's coming from an officer's standpoint. That's what I was just saying. He's coming from an officer's standpoint, somebody who's been out there in the field. And I asked y'all, do y'all know what the officers are allowed to do and not do? I asked that in the beginning. Do you know what the officers are allowed to do and not do? Oh, she's in Italy right now. Okay. Okay.
Passively resisting an unlawful arrest and never attempted to flee. And the severity of the crime was so incredibly low that nearly every officer that responded to the scene was in active violation of the same law McNeil was originally pulled over for. No headlights, no headlights, no headlights. Not to mention that one.
That doesn't matter. I already said it is exempt. But when it comes to saying that a person is passive aggressive, this guy, the thing that reasonable people in the courts look at is, what is the officer's observation of what's happening? If a person is just sitting there like this, that does not mean that they're not a threat. The threat level is that the person is non-compliant for the last X amount of time. When they knock the window out, if the officer wanted stun him while they're trying to open the door, that's nothing wrong with that. You can stun the guy to get him disoriented, to get him all back, so you can unlock the door and take care of business without you just sitting there jangling with the door. Hold on, man. You good? Okay. You got a knife or gun in there? You grab it while I'm doing this right here.
That makes plenty sense to me. Makes plenty sense to me. But that's just me.
If an officer believes that, hey, let me stun him real quick, get his, whatever you call it in law enforcement, get his OODA loop off. So he's kind of dazed. And I'm going to do the door and we're going to get this thing done. We're going to pull him out of the car. The officer can deem that that's necessary to execute an arrest. When you've never done this before and you don't know the height, suspicion, and things that go on like this, you would be like, oh, you just did it for no reason. Well,
that's what I'm saying. If you've never done that before, if you've never been an officer out there in them streets and have to deal with irate people or combative people, you don't know like what they're allowed to do and not do. Now, I think Tatum is in Arizona, but I'm sure they go through these trainings many times. But I get what he's saying. Yeah, let me throw this nigga off. I'm gonna knock him across the head real quick, get him off balance. He's not complying. And he's clearly showing that he's combative right now. So I'm gonna knock this nigga, get him off balance, and we're gonna get that seatbelt off of him and get this
Get out 7 or 8 times already. He said, he not. They break the window out. Get out of the car. He refused. He got the doors locked. He's not opening the door. They had to knock the window out to get him out. Then they had to open the door and pull the seatbelt off of him to get him out.
Okay. So I want to listen to this from a police officer's standpoint once again.
Get out 7 or 8 times already.
I just want to hear from a police officer again. Now we can go to the lawyers part after this. I just want to hear from a police officer, somebody who's been out there in the field, why he felt that they needed to bust the window out. And then hopefully I can get my cousin to come on and we can, get a better understanding of maybe why, they had to use the force they use, or even if he feels, because he might not agree. My cousin may, as a police officer, may not agree that the force was warranted. But let's see.
The officer that responded to the scene was in active violation of the same law McNeil was originally pulled over for. No headlights, no headlights, no headlights. Not to mention that one.
That doesn't matter. I already said it is exempt. But when it comes to, when you've never done this before and you don't know the height suspicion and things that go on like this, you would be like, oh, you just did it for no reason. Well, the courts evaluated and they didn't agree with you. Not the courts, but at least the prosecutor's office, they didn't agree with you. Roll the clip.
Once the door was opened and he was ordered out of the vehicle, McNeil responded with, all right.
Step out now.
They said, first of all, he's resisting. They told him to get out 7 or 8 times already. He said,
now, first of all, he's resisting. That's a decision. That's a decision to do that. First of all, that's a decision. You're resisting. Second of all, you were told 7 times before your window was busted.
he not. They break the window out. Get out of the car. He refused. He got the doors locked. He's not opening the door. They had to knock the window out to get him out. Then they had to open the door and pull the seatbelt off of him to get him out. And people say he had a seatbelt. No, he put the seatbelt on during this traffic stop to cause this problem, right? Because then they can't just pull him out. They gotta undo the seatbelt and all that. He refused to get out. Then when they go to pull him out, he go, okay. But then he says, they go, put your hands behind your back. He said, no, don't touch me. He said, no, don't touch. He's holding his arms, resisting arrest. And this guy saying he was compliant.
I mean, y'all, he said he did nothing wrong, y'all. That's what he said. He said he did nothing wrong. And when he was at that microphone, he said, I did nothing wrong. Now, I'm just asking y'all, as we listen to this, is y'all ready to go burn y'all shitty down behind this? I'm not. But that's just me, though. That's just me, though.
No, he wasn't. Roll it.
All right.
And likely would have allowed the deputies to remove him, cuff him, and put him in a cruiser. But instead, 3 deputies pulled him in opposite directions while they punched him and threw him to the ground. In fact, when viewing the body cam frame by frame, McNeil can be seen putting his hands behind his back before saying, no, don't.
What you wanted them to do? Dance with him, nigga? What you want? The motherfucker is resisting. He's resisting. What you want him to do? Double dutch with that nigga? What you want him to do? Nigga, do a line dance with that nigga before they take him to jail? What y'all want him to like, he's resisting. He's resisting. Now, was the force excessive? Man, listen, I don't think so.
Punch me.
Hold on. Listen to this guy. He said McNeil said, "No, don't punch me." Where does he get "no, don't punch me"? If a guy is wrestling with the cops, he's not saying "no, don't punch me" when nobody punched him. He's saying "don't touch me." He's telling them "don't touch me." And this guy is saying that he said "don't punch me." The transcript that was And just because they got his arm here, he's still resisting. He's not here with his arms behind his back. He's resisting, and they're pulling his arms behind his back. He's not complying. Complying would be as soon as he got the car. No, he said, "No, don't touch me." And then they pulled it, and one hit him in the face.
Mic check, mic check, mic check, mic check. Yeah, y'all, I don't know what's going on with this internet. Usually it do shit like this when we getting ready to get a storm or it's about to rain or something. I ain't looked out there to see what the weather like, but usually that's the only time my internet get to acting stupid like this. Man, I'm just probably gonna end this until I find out what's going on. You know what? Yeah, because I don't know. I don't know what's going on, what's causing it to keep cutting off like this. But let me try to get through this, guy.
No, don't touch me. He said, "Don't punch me." It's the craziest thing. And this guy is saying that he said, "Don't punch me." The transcript that was put into the video associated with the body worn camera has "Don't touch me." I hear him say, "Don't touch me." Why would this guy say that he said, "Don't punch me"? It's the craziest thing ever. Roll the clip. They forced his arms behind his back.
But despite Neil saying don't
time out, they forced his arms behind his back. And just because they got his arm here, he's still resisting. He's not here with his arms behind his back. He's resisting and they're pulling his arms behind his back. He's not complying. Complying would be as soon as he got the car. No, he said, "No, don't touch me." And then they pulled it and one hit him in the face. Like they had to wrestle this guy to the ground. He's looking for a payday.
Yeah, I ain't burning down my city. I ain't burning down my neighborhood behind this. Sorry. I'm just not.
Clearly. He wants to fight. He wants to get it out so he can say, "Oh, they abused me and I want a payday." Roll the clip.
Punch me.
Nor am I burning down my city or my neighborhood for Carmelo Anthony either. Dumb decisions, bad decisions, long before the incident happened. But we don't want to talk about bad decisions once again.
No, don't touch me. Stop, pause it. Go back a little bit, Nick. All right, right there. I want to play the little words in this guy's video. Play it. No. Watch this. Pause. Even in this guy's own notes on the side, which he added, "Don't punch me," he say, no. They're saying, "Put your hands behind your back." No. He's saying, no.
He's telling on himself. He's telling right there. He's telling on himself that he's resisting.
He's resisting. "Don't touch me." That's what he's saying. He's resisting. He didn't get out and comply. He didn't get out and say, "Okay, officers, I'm giving up. Here, I'm putting my hand behind the back." He gets out and stands up and said, "Don't touch me." And he's resisting. And it takes 3 or 4 officers to force his hands behind his back. And he would still be standing up fighting him if the officer didn't check him on the chin, which that officer believed that utilizing that level of force is what executes the arrest. And did it or did it not? He was fighting. He was standing up. They trying to get his arms behind his back. When he hit him on the chin, that's when he complied and went down to the ground passively. He still wasn't putting his hands behind his back where they can handcuff. All this is happening in seconds. Now, people who prosecute this stuff and people who are reasonable understand how this stuff happens in seconds. There's a slight delay, right? Meaning that don't do this and the guy says boom. He could be doing boom while they finally got his arm here. This stuff is happening in seconds. So a prosecutor is not going to look at this and say, well, technically, if you look at the 1/100,000th of a second, he kind of punched him as his arm was going back. So technically, his arm is back and his fist is here, right on hit his beard, hit a little string of hair on his chin. Technically, it contacted his body at the 1/1000 millionth of a second. And then in his mind, he was thinking about complying, so the officer was wrong. Nobody's thinking about that. These things are happening, and they give leeway to officers on the circumstances and how fast things are moving. Roll the clip.
Let this soft mineral melt under your tongue to improve vision so you can say goodbye to your optometrist for good. Did you?
Hey, good morning to you, Texas. What's happening with you? What's happening? Let's go, y'all.
Subtitles that read, "Don't touch me."
Well, technically, if you look at the 1/100,000th of a second, he kind of punched him as his arm was going back. So technically, his arm is back and his fist is here, right on his, hit his beard, hit a little string of hair on his chin. Technically, it contacted his body at the 1/1000 millionth of a second. And then in his mind, he was thinking about complying, so the officer was wrong. Nobody's thinking about that. These things are happening, and they give leeway to officers on the circumstances and how fast things are moving. Roll the clip. Once he hit
The
him, he
records
went down.
clerk added subtitles that read, "Don't touch me." Seconds
Don't touch
before being punched a second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh time.
So stop right there. This dude has a problem with the punches in the thighs. First of all, that's not the same officer. The responding officer back there was punching him in the thighs to get him to comply, to put his hands behind his back, fully compliant. It's not compliant because your hands are not here anymore. It's not compliant when your hands are here. It's not compliant when your hands are here. It's not compliant when your hands are here. It's compliant when your hands are where the officer wants your hands so he can put the handcuffs on. Just because your hands are near your back doesn't mean that you've complied. So officers hitting him in reasonable leg strikes to get him to comply fully with their commands to put your hands behind your back so that they can handcuff him. And this guy is not on the ground with him, so they don't know the level of resistance that he's putting up against the officers.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't see the excessive force. I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it. But that's my opinion. My unpopular opinion. I'm not seeing it.
You can't see it. You're not there. You're not physically on this guy. If he was not resisting, it would have taken one officer to put his hands on his back. But all these officers had to jump on him. One had to punch him and do all this just to get his hands on his back. And it's not unreasonable for an officer to hit him in the legs to get him to comply. Now, if you see him complying and the officer still punching him and beating him and hitting him in the face, then we'll have a different scenario.
Facts.
The officer's punching him in the legs.
Facts.
Once he feel like the guy has fully complied, he stopped punching his legs. That's reasonable. He wasn't punching him in the face. He wasn't trying to elbow him in the spine. He was punching him in the thighs to get him to comply. Reasonable use of force.
Yeah, I don't see it. I don't see the excessive force. I don't see it. That's me though. That's my unpopular opinion.
Based on the officer's belief that they're doing what they need to do to execute an arrest. It's simple, man. Roll the clip.
Same clerk added officer unintelligible when the officer yells clearly, "Stop fighting," before punching McNeil in the legs and lower body several times, though McNeil already had his hands behind his back despite being punched.
Time out. He don't have the right hand behind his back. The officer is pulling his left hand behind his back. His right hand is not connected to his left hand. His hands are not behind his back like this. One is halfway behind his back being pulled by one officer. The other one is not even behind his back. It's kind of hanging out to the side because he's resisting. What do you mean his hands are behind his back? Because you see one arm that had to be forced back there. You're saying his hands are, no, one arm is forced back there. The other one is not even connected where you can put handcuffs on it. It's still hanging off to the side over there. His hands are not behind his back. Roll it.
Face twice, thrown to the ground, and having his face mashed into the pavement. After the incident, Deputy Bowers wrote in his incident report, "The suspect was reaching for the floorboard of the vehicle where a large knife was sitting." This was obviously written to obfuscate the truth so idiots like Tatum would point and say, "See, had knife," and to justify what he already knew was excessive force.
Not one time, and I'm gonna be done with it now because it's pointless. I've already debunked everything he said in this video. No, it's more. I'll play a little bit more. But not one time did anybody say that any justification was even argued because he had a knife in the car. People only brought up the knife, including the sheriff, was simply because they're explaining the totality of the danger in this situation. The guy's literally resisting arrest for several minutes, shutting the door, locking the door, and doing all that, and he has a knife on the floorboard. This guy which is a deadly weapon in close proximity to him. But that doesn't have nothing to do with anything else because nobody argued that. I didn't argue it in my op-ed. The sheriff didn't argue it. Nobody's arguing that they did this because he had a knife. They're just explaining that this guy had a weapon in close proximity. And I don't know what the officer saw. I wasn't there. They the ones undoing the thing. They could undo the thing and see the knife right there. They may not want to draw attention to the knife because they don't want him to grab the knife. I don't know. But you wasn't there. You're going to have an uphill battle to try to argue that the officer did see or didn't see something when he was right there. You're not going to win that in court. The officer can say, yeah, I saw it, but I didn't want to say nothing because I didn't want him to grab the knife. I didn't want to draw attention to it. The officer can say whatever you want to say. The fact that you're not there, you don't know what they saw and what they were feeling and what their justification was. It's really according to what they said, and the limited body worn camera can give you insight in part to what they thought, saw, and feel, and the reason why they reacted the way they did. But here's another, it goes a little further, and I'm going to finish it here. Roll it.
Face it, if the officer didn't know that it was excessive force, why lie about it in the report?
Soon after McNeil was outside his car, officers found a large, unsheathed serrated.
Okay, so Knee Deep kept bringing up there was a report lied about. This is my first time hearing this, so let's hear about this falsified report. Where is this falsified report coming from? Let's hear what this is all about.
Wasn't there. They the ones undoing the thing. They could undo the thing and see the knife right there. They may not want to draw attention to the knife because they don't want him to grab the knife. I don't know. But you wasn't there. You're going to have an uphill battle to try to argue that the officer did see or didn't see something when he was right there. You're not going to win that in court. The officer can say, yeah, I saw it, but I didn't want to say nothing because I didn't want him to grab the knife. I didn't want to draw attention to it. The officer can say whatever you want to say. The fact that you're not there, you don't know what they saw and what they were feeling and what their justification was. It's really according to what they said, and the limited body worn camera can give you insight in part to what they thought, saw, and feel, and the reason why they reacted the way they did. But here's another, it goes a little further, and I'm going to finish it here. Roll it.
Face it, if the officer didn't know that it was excessive force, why lie about it in the report?
Soon after McNeil was outside his car, officers found a large, unsheathed serrated knife on the driver's side floorboard.
But the fact is, the deputy knew that the incident was being recorded from inside the vehicle, which clearly showed that McNeil never even so much as glanced towards the knife.
Pause. This is exactly rebutting his own point. The officer knew McNeil was recording. He had his own body worn camera recording. Now, why would you think an officer would tell a complete lie when he know the guy's recording it? He know the guy's recording when he did with the palm strike. He know the guy's recording that because he said, I'm recording too. So you think the officer, knowing that video evidence is there, knowing his body worn camera evidence is there, and you think he's gonna just make up a lie? When the officer takes the body worn camera off, you load it onto a dock. That dock is downloaded by a third-party company that makes hundreds of millions of dollars storing footage of body worn camera. I wish I'd have came out with that job. But cops can't review it. There's no video, there's no computers and stuff typically. Now, I don't know what technology has come to today, but when we were there, the body worn camera just came out, and guys used to take their body on camera, put it on a dock in the briefing room where they charge. And when you put it on the charger, it downloads to a third-party company that we don't have access to unless for you request it. Not for you request it, but we have to request the footage. And then the footage don't go to you, it go to the records department. The cop don't get it. It goes to the records department. And then it's, I don't know how many hours of footage that's on there. And it's available to the public. Anyway, I want to
Why do professional knives with fancy names disappoint in real kitchens? Most people settle for cheap doll.
Hit this last point and I'm done. Roll it. I want to get to the Tyree Nichols thing, and then we can be done with this. Yeah, let's get to it. So he just says all this stuff that's pointless. Talk about compliance, whatever. Then he gets to this part. Play it.
I've said it before, and I'll say it again. If you comply, you won't die. It's as simple as that. Funny, he said the same thing about the murder of Tyree Nichols, who was beat to death by several cops while laying motionless in handcuffs.
He didn't comply. He did. I made the video and said the officers were wrong anyway. This guy's, he don't even watch the videos he's talking about. I made a video saying the officers wrong and they deserve to go to jail and all this other stuff, which they did. And they beat the guy and some of them end up being responsible for killing him. The others were responsible for other crimes that they were charged with. Nobody's taking up for them. Nobody's supporting these officers, whatever the case may be. But he didn't comply. That's how he got from his car to under a street light down the street, because he fought the officers at the car. Then he ran and fought with the officers under the street light. They just so happened to use excessive force against him. What do you mean comply? He didn't comply. Compliant, they think compliance is I fight you until I start losing, and then no, that's not how it works. Compliance is that you're under arrest. Get out the car. Yes, sir. Get out the car. For you to get in a foot pursuit with the police, you're not complying. Tyree Nichols will still be alive. I put my life on all these situations. Tyree Nichols would still be alive if he had gotten out of the car and got arrested like a normal person. Instead of fighting the officers, running, he escaped them. They fought him. He escaped them and ran, and they chased him. He didn't just get out the car and juke. They were fighting, and he was fighting them back and wiggling and hitting, and then he escaped, and they ran him down. So, and then they used excessive force. But if he would have just stopped and got out the car, he'd still be alive. I just had to go point by point on this guy. It's irrational for people to act and be like this. The facts are there. You can hate the police all you want, but you got to go off the law. That's why people get they butt hurt when officers don't get charged. It's like, yeah, because you're not following the law. The law says a cop can do this, this, and this within reason. The law says a cop can shoot you if you do X, Y, Z. The use of force policy says this. If you read the policy and if you looked at the law in the state, you will see that there is no problem with what the officer did. That's why he was acquitted. And if you were reasonable, you wouldn't be shocked. You'd be like, yeah, I see, according to the law.
Now, I'm going to say this. That was a question I asked in the beginning. Do you know the laws? Do you know what Okay, so my cousin who's a police officer, he's an active police officer. He said he would love to come on and talk about it. Hold on one second, y'all. Let me text him back. All right, so this is what my cousin said. This is what my cousin just messaged me. He's an active law enforcement. He said, I saw the video, and from what I saw, there was no reason for the guy to be assaulted. I'll give a more in-depth answer later, but yes, of course, I would like to talk about it, but you know it's gonna be a discrepancy. But I'm gonna hit you up in a few. And I think it's basically what he's saying is people are gonna say he's coming from a biased standpoint, like an Officer Tatum standpoint. I don't know. I don't even want to speak to him. I don't even want to speak for him. But what I'm gonna do is, in case he wants to come on, I'm gonna send him the link right now. But let's get into this other video real quick. And this is a lawyer talking about the situation. I haven't seen this video. I'm watching it with y'all for the first time. I have not seen this. I didn't see the last video. I'm watching it with y'all for the first time. So let's see what's said.
We have this traffic stop, and it looks, if you watch the cell phone video, as is Arthur McNeil is doing nothing wrong. The cops just for no reason, smash out his car window, drag him out of the car, throw him on the ground, handcuff him. And if a civilian did that, he'd be in handcuffs himself. So how can it possibly be right for the police to do that? Well, when police are acting in self-defense, they largely have the same self-defense rights as all of us. It's not that much different for police than it is for civilians. But the police have authority to use force under circumstances where a civilian would not. For example, the police have a legal privilege to initiate the use of physical force, which you and I do not have. As civilians, we cannot be the initial physical aggressors in a confrontation. If we do, we lose the right of self-defense. Self-defense is intended to allow us to defend ourselves against someone else's initiation of unlawful force, not to allow us to initiate unlawful force in someone else and then try to justify it as self-defense.
First, we offer overnight boarding. Your pet will stay overnight in your sitter's home and not only be treated like part of the family.
And there's very few circumstances in which we as a civilian can initiate force and have it be lawful. Society doesn't want that. Society doesn't want civilians going around and initiating force on each other. In part, that's what we have police for. We have select individuals that we train and authorize and give a badge to, make them swear an oath. And those people are given the privilege as law enforcement officers to initiate force to compel compliance with lawful demands. When a police officer gives you a lawful command, you are legally bound to obey that command. And if you don't obey the command, the officer is privileged to initiate force on you to compel your compliance. And one of the most common circumstances in which you're subject to lawful commands from a police officer, because a police officer can't simply order people about willy-nilly, but one circumstance in which he has a much broadened authority to issue lawful commands is during a traffic stop, during a lawful traffic stop. A police officer can demand all kinds of things from you, a driver's license, registration, insurance, that he can't demand from you if you were simply walking down the street, can't demand for no good reason. But if you're the target of a traffic stop, he can demand, and you are obliged to provide your license, registration, insurance. And if you don't do those things, you are subject to arrest. And if you don't comply with the arrest, and compliance could be violent or non-violent, simply not obeying the lawful order is a non-violent non-compliance with arrest, the officer can use physical force to compel your compliance with that arrest you made necessary by not fulfilling your legal duty to provide the license, registration, and insurance. Now,
I'm sorry, y'all. I wanna rewind this. I want to run this back real quick because I want to hear him correctly. This is attorney reacts to non-compliant suspect police body cam. The name of this guy's channel is the Attorney Andrew Branica Show. All right, that's the name of his channel, the Attorney Andrew Branica Show. So y'all, if y'all interested in his views as an attorney, y'all go check out his channel too. So let me rewind back a little bit.
To compel compliance with lawful demands. When a police officer gives you a lawful command, you are legally bound to obey that command.
I'm with you.
And if you don't obey the command, the officer is privileged to initiate force on you to compel your compliance. And one of the most common circumstances in which you're subject to lawful commands from a police officer, because a police officer can't simply order people about willy-nilly, but one circumstance in which he has a much broadened authority to issue lawful commands is during a traffic stop, during a lawful traffic stop. A police officer can demand all kinds of things from you, a driver's license, registration, insurance, that he can't demand from you if you were simply walking down the street, can't demand for no good reason. But if you're the target of a traffic stop, he can demand, and you are obliged to provide your license, registration, insurance. And if you don't do those things, you are subject to arrest. And if you don't comply with the arrest, and compliance could be violent or non-violent.
If you don't do those things, you are subject to arrest. That's a decision to comply or not comply. That's it is a decision to comply or not comply. In that video we saw, he had a choice. He had a decision, man, to comply or not comply. I know some of y'all don't want to hear that. I know some of y'all just want to get to the window being broke and the assault. All I'm saying is before we got to the window being broke, he had the right to comply or not comply. He made a decision not to comply. Wait a minute. Also, before he even got the police in his life, he made a decision, a conscious decision to break the law and get in his car riding dirty. That was a conscious decision he made before his window ever got broke, before he ever got assaulted. And I'm sorry, I don't see the excessive force. I don't. Sorry. So this is the point I'm making to y'all. Here we are again, another situation where nobody wants to look at the bad decision people make before we get to the police being in their life, before we get to any racist cops, before we get to white supremacy, before we get to the racial, oh, this was excessive force and racial, before we get to any of that, people don't like to look at bad decisions that were made before you even got to your window being bust. We just want to get to the window being bust and the cops assaulting him, and all of that. We just want to jump to all of that. And I think that's a big problem with our people.
If you were simply walking down the street, can't demand for no good reason. But if you're the target of a traffic stop, he can demand, and you are obliged to provide your license, registration, insurance. And if you don't do those things, you are subject to arrest. And if you don't comply with the arrest, and compliance could be violent or non-violent, simple.
And it's cool because my girl is in here. My girl DeWanda is in here. Let's think. This is what they don't want to talk about. Let's think. This is what they don't want to talk about. Let's think. This is what they don't want to talk about. Let's think. This is all I'm saying. Let's think. This is all I'm saying. And this is my unpopular opinion. My opinion is what she's saying. My unpopular opinion. Because everybody wants to jump to the window getting broke out and the punch in the face. And we want to skip past, you could have complied. You could have easily complied. Or you could have not gotten your car with a suspended license riding dirty. You could have. You could have not put a knife in your car. You could have not been riding around with weed in your car. You could have cut your headlights on. You could have put your seatbelt on. And then you could have complied when you got stopped. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. But we don't want to talk about none of that. That ain't what we want to talk about. That ain't what we want to deal with. We want to jump all the way to the, I don't see excessive force. I don't see it. I just don't. I don't see it.
Not obeying the lawful order is a non-violent non-compliance with arrest. The officer can use physical force to compel your compliance with that arrest you made necessary by not fulfilling your legal duty to provide the license, registration, and insurance. Now,
all right. Now we heard Officer Tatum coming from a law enforcement point of view. Now this guy is coming from an attorney point of view. I mean, he's just one attorney, but he's coming from an attorney point of view. All I'm saying, y'all, is we got to make better decisions. And don't go burning your city down behind niggas making bad decisions. That's all I'm saying. Don't go burning down your city, burning up your grocery stores, getting all in your emotions behind a nigga that made bad decisions. That's all I'm saying.
Most of us, I would imagine, have at some point been the target of a traffic stop. I know I certainly have, usually because my speedometer wasn't working correctly. And what do? You comply with the traffic stop. You provide your license, your insurance, your registration. Maybe you get a warning if you're lucky. That's usually I'm lucky. Sometimes you get a.
I can count on my hand how many warnings I got. I have gotten a warning before. I have. But at the end of the day, decisions, choices, decisions. At the end of the day.
Ticket that you have to pay. That's just the way a traffic stop goes, but it's no big problem. It's no big drama for anybody. Now, in this particular case, Arthur McNeil had a suspended license. He had drugs on his person. He had a large knife on the floorboard of the driver's side of the car, right where he was. Maybe you get a warning if you're lucky. That's usually I'm lucky. Sometimes you get a ticket that you have to pay. That's just the way a traffic stop goes, but it's no big problem. It's no big drama for anybody. Now, in this particular case, Arthur McNeil had a suspended license. He had drugs on his person. He had a large knife on the floorboard of.
I don't think he's going to win the case. I didn't see excessive force.
The driver's side of the car, right where he was sitting. He had reasons for that officer not to run his driver's license, not to have a reason to pull him out of the car, search the vehicle, find the drugs, for example. So he decided to be non-compliant. Well, once you're non-compliant at a traffic stop, it opens up lots of bad outcomes.
That's a decision to be non-compliant. That's your decision. That's a decision. You didn't have to make that decision. You could have complied and didn't even have to deal with the so-called excessive force.
For you, that only exists because of your non-compliance. So let's take a look at the body-worn camera here of the officer involved, and we'll see the nature of the patently non-compliance of Arthur McNeil Jr. with his.
Well, LaDon, we heard from an officer who said that they are allowed to use force like that. They are allowed to do that to get the person off, to get the person off, to throw them off. We heard from an officer that said they are allowed to use force like tasing them or punching them to get them off. They were trying to get that man out of the car with a seatbelt on. He said a law enforcement officer said they have the right to use that type of force, and he punched them and got them out. I mean, you may not think it's right, but if you're not out there working in that field neither, you may not think it's right, but you're not out there in the line of fire either. It's called a diversionary tactic. And this woman right here, she worked in law enforcement right here. My sister DeWanda, she worked in law enforcement. All right, so that's what they were saying. You may not think it right. Yeah, it looks bad. It looks bad, but you're not out there in that line of work either. Thank you. If he had complied, he wouldn't have got punched. He wouldn't have got punched. So, I'm waiting on my cousin to see when he wants to do this. But maybe my cousin has my cousin says he doesn't feel that assault was needed. But I agree with Officer Tatum, what I saw with Officer Tatum.
Legal duties at a traffic stop to present his license, registration, insurance, and obey the lawful order.
LaDon, was you just in here when I played the Officer Tatum video? Oh, here we go. They had done that to a white man. Here we go.
Of this police officer, Bowers. Let me pull this up.
This is the morning gut reset recipe that took me from 198 to 147 in just weeks. It's
Yeah, Florida 24 Bravo Echo Charlie Whiskey on a silver Kia. I don't know.
By the way, I noticed later in the video that this Kia that Arthur McNeil is driving is pretty beat up. It's got a lot of dents. It looks like it has substantial front end damage. The hood is kind of buckled in. It's hard to tell, but I think that was present before this stop. I don't think the police vehicles involved caused that damage, for example. Which might have been another reason that the officer did the traffic stop. Was this vehicle just involved in an accident? They don't say that. They say because it was he didn't have his headlights on in the rain. So my first driver's license ever in my life was a Florida driver's license, by the way. And one of the things they taught us, this is not a rule in every state, but in Florida, if there's rain, if your wipers are on, your headlights have to be on. In fact, your headlights have to be on if there's just inclement weather that may.
Ashley, I couldn't even. I just left it alone, Ashley. Because that's something I can't stand. Like I just left it alone, Ashley. I'm glad you put it there. I'm glad you put it there.
Reduce visibility. And if your headlights are not on under those circumstances, that's grounds for a traffic stop. That's one of the reasons the officer will cite here.
Yes, sir. Is there a reason why you're popping the door open like that?
I don't have a window that works. Is there a reason that you're pulling me over?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a reason why I'm pulling you over. For one thing, inclement weather, you don't have your lights on. Two things, you're not wearing your seatbelt.
It's daylight. I don't need the lights. And it's not weather. It's not raining.
This is inclement.
It's not raining.
Okay, I'm not arguing.
So, right, the deputy says, I'm not arguing with you. Yes, the deputy does not have to explain the nuances of traffic laws to you to stop. He doesn't even have to tell you why he's stopping you. That's a courtesy. Now, it's a prudent courtesy. Most people want to know why they've been stopped. You give them a reason, but you don't get to argue the reason on the side of the road. This is not a courtroom. This is not traffic court. The officer says, this is the reason I stopped you. You can say, I don't agree, but there's no discussion. The officer is not obligated to argue with you the merits of the legal claim here on the side of the road. In any case, this Arthur McNeil is wrong. It's not nighttime. That has nothing to do with the Florida law about headlights. You do have to have your headlights on at night, of course. That's another circumstance in which headlights are required. But that's not why this officer made the stop. And of course, immediately now the officer suspects, I'm sure, this is going to be a problematic traffic stop, unnecessarily, driven by the driver.
I'm telling you why I'm pulling you over. Give me your driver's license, registration, proof of insurance.
No, call your supervisor. Why?
Excuse me?
Call your supervisor.
Call your supervisor. This has become another one of these catchphrases of these non-compliant drivers. Like, I didn't do nothing. Call your supervisor. No driver has a right to have a supervisor called. This isn't some privilege card you get to throw out onto the roadway. And now the officer's like, oh my gosh, you got me. Now I have to call my supervisor. Every law enforcement officer doing a traffic stop is entitled to process that traffic stop himself. He's not compelled to produce a supervisor simply because you want one. There's a lot more cops than there are supervisors. They can't all be calling a supervisor.
Okay, so we had the question earlier. I don't know if sis is still in here. That kept asking about the supervisor question. You're supposed to go get a supervisor. You're supposed to go get a supervisor. He's addressing the supervisor issue. I'm glad he is. Now, this is coming from an attorney. I'm glad he's addressing this because this was a question earlier in this live about the supervisor.
Do nothing. Call your supervisor. No driver has. That's another circumstance in which headlights are required. But that's not why this officer made the stop. And of course, immediately now the officer suspects, I'm sure, this is going to be a problematic traffic stop, unnecessarily, driven by the driver.
I'm telling you why I'm pulling you over. Give me your driver's license, registration, proof of insurance.
No, call your supervisor. Why?
Excuse me?
Call your supervisor.
Call your supervisor. This has become another one of these catchphrases of these non-compliant drivers. Like, I didn't do nothing. Call your supervisor.
Now, I just want to say this once again. This was a question. This was a big question earlier in the live. Sis kept asking the question about a supervisor, okay? She wanted to know about the supervisor. Let me see something. And like I told her, give me 1 second, y'all. She kept asking about the supervisor. I want to see she kept making a point about the supervisor. You have to go get a supervisor. You have to get a supervisor. Is what she kept saying. You have to go get a supervisor. Give me 1 second. I just want y'all to see this was a big question that kept coming up earlier. Okay, I must can't get to it. Okay, but that was a big question. The supervisor question was a big question earlier in the live. You got to get a supervisor. He was supposed to be able to get a supervisor. Nook the book, what's happening with you? Peacock on the run, what's happening? Carla Moore, what's happening with you? Truth be told, my sister DeWanda, what's happening with you? Y'all checking in. Ashley, me and you are on the same page, man. Ashley, Monica, Monagay, we are on the same page. We on the same page. Yeah. So she wanted to keep asking about the supervisor. I said, well, I hope the lawyer answers the question about the supervisor. Let's hear about that.
No driver has a right to have a supervisor called. This isn't some privilege card you get to throw out onto the roadway. And now the officer's like, oh my gosh, you got me. Now I have to call my supervisor. Every law enforcement officer doing a traffic stop is entitled to process that traffic stop himself. He's not compelled to produce a supervisor simply because you want one. There's a lot more cops than there are supervisors.
Now, there's an attorney here saying that he doesn't have to get a supervisor. There's an attorney now. Now, like I told y'all at the beginning of this live, I don't know the laws in Florida. I don't know if that's what this attorney is saying is correct or not. I don't. But this is an attorney who's probably fought these type of things, and he's saying he don't have to go get no supervisor. Nigga, you know, it's way more officers than it is supervisors. You know how many people probably calling for supervisors? Nigga, we ain't got all day to wait on no supervisor. All right, so again, my stance is comply, fight it in court. Even if you think he's wrong. If you think he's wrong, don't fight it on the side of the road, fight it in court. You wouldn't get punched in the face and all of that. Like, that's all I was saying.
They can't all be calling a supervisor every time a traffic stop is occurring. That would be ridiculous. There's nothing here to warrant a supervisor except for this driver's conduct.
Why did you pull me over? I'm 35. I'm driver. I already told you. Why did you pull me over?
So the deputy very prudently is already calling for backup. He says, I have a non-cooperative driver, clearly.
See that guy standing while everyone else is kneeling? That's Jonathan Isaac.
Step out of the vehicle. No, step out of the vehicle.
So I see a super chat came in that I want to address right away, because it makes a claim of merit. Kingslayer Damocles, $5, says the law he was stopped for requires it to be raining, foggy, or smoky. This day had none of that. This is a stop without probable cause. First of all, it's Florida. Rain starts and stops in Florida like that. I've personally been in Florida and watched a wall of rain approach me on the roadway. It was absolutely dry, and this wall of rain is coming, and then a couple minutes later, it turns off like a switch. So it could have been raining moments before when this deputy observed the car without his headlights on. The fact that it's not raining at this moment doesn't mean that didn't happen. Second of all, even if it was a stop without probable cause, you still don't get to argue that at the side of the road. You argue that in traffic court.
What I said.
This is not where a legal dispute occurs.
This is what I said. Like, you could have made the decision to fight that in court, not on the side of the road. And your window wouldn't have got bust out. And you wouldn't have got punched in the face. And you wouldn't have been resisting arrest. Because you were definitely resisting arrest, sir. You said you didn't do anything wrong. If you would have just complied, your window wouldn't have got bust out. If you would have knew the law, if you wouldn't have got behind the wheel of a car with a suspended license, no police wouldn't even have been in your life this day. You made bad decisions, sir. And I'm not burning down my city. I'm not tearing down my city. and then you decided to resist arrest, which got you punched in the face and your fucking window busted. I'm good. I'm not. Yeah, get somebody else to do it. I'm sorry.
So now at this point, Arthur McNeil has been pulled over. He's been argumentative with the officer, doesn't like why he was stopped. Asked why he popped open the door in the first place. He said, my window doesn't work, so that's why I opened my door so I could talk to you. Reasonable enough. Cops obviously don't like it when you pop your door open when they walk up to your vehicle, because it opens up tactical options for you if you're intending to be hostile. It's hard to fight from inside a car seat. It's much easier to fight if you can quickly extricate yourself from the vehicle, which you need to open the door to do. Either fight or escape. And these fights from these traffic stops can and often do have serious consequences. Many of you would have followed my coverage of the Christopher Shore case. This was the police officer in, was it Michigan? Now I'm blanking on what state it was in. But this was a police officer on his own in a patrol car, as they so commonly are now, did a traffic stop. And that driver became violently non-compliant, and Christopher Shore ended up having to shoot that guy in the course of the traffic stop in self-defense. And Christopher Shore went to trial for murder, and it was ultimately found to be self-defense.
I'm just wondering, what was he gonna do when the supervisor got there? Like, I'm just trying to figure out what was he gonna do when the supervisor got there. I feel like it was gonna be just as bad with the supervisor there. Nigga, the moment they ran your name, you was going to jail. What, like, the moment they ran your name, you was gonna be going to jail. What was you gonna do? What you want to super? You ain't got no license, nigga. You got dope in the car. You got a knife in the car. What you want a supervisor for? You should want to stay as far away from the supervisor. And I'm saying, if you would have just complied, they probably wouldn't even searched your car. They probably would have towed it. But that weed and that knife and shit would have been still sitting there when you got your car out the junkyard. I think you made it worse not complying. You made your whole situation worse.
Was acquitted of the murder charge. But no one knew that going in. Christopher Shore was looking at a murder conviction possibility for several years before a jury acquitted him. That's how quickly these traffic stops with non-compliant operators can happen. And there's no reason for it. People just have to comply. There's no reason unless the driver has problems, has a suspended license, has warrants out, is drunk, has drugs in the car, some reason why he doesn't want to get engaged with police, just wants to be waved away. Here's another one.
What was he gonna do with the supervisor?
Mike $5 says no raindrops on the windows, illegal stop. There are in fact raindrops on the vehicle. We'll see that as we watch more of the body worn.
We saw that there were raindrops on the window. False, fake news. There were raindrops on the window.
So that's not true. You should still comply, but it doesn't mean the cops are saints and in the right. No, of course not. Cops can make mistakes. People are allowed to contest traffic citations. I've done it. But you do that in court. You don't do it on the side of the road. All right, let's continue here. So now McNeil is shutting his car door, which of course is no good. This officer needs to communicate with the driver. There are things that need to be done.
Play by say, if not with the night for the driver just slam the door and lock it. Yep.
Call your supervisor. This is all nonsense. And I see someone in the comments mentioned the deputy had also cited no seatbelt. Now the deputy he's not obligated to repeat over and over again every reason he has to make the traffic stop. He's made the traffic stop. He's not even required to give a reason. He can just demand your license, registration, insurance, go back to his car, process you for what he believes the violation is, and bring you back your ticket.
25 seconds. If anybody responding, come in from Commonwealth, block the vehicle, please.
Keep your hands where I can see them, sir. My camera's on too. I've already told you. Okay. Okay. Right now you're under arrest for resisting. You understand? You're under arrest for resisting. The longer you take us on, the worse it's going to be. Keep your hands where I can see them, sir. Okay.
I sent it to her though. I sent it.
So I mentioned earlier, we just saw this patrol car come up on the front of the vehicle, go bumper to bumper. I mentioned earlier this Kia, the suspect McNeil is driving, has front end damage, like the front hood is buckled. And I thought maybe when this cop pulled up, he actually bumped the vehicle, like caused the damage. But you'll see when the police vehicle comes to a stop here, the Kia doesn't move, right? You would expect it to shake rather vigorously if it was struck by the police car, which makes me think the Kia had that front end damage already prior to the stop. And that may have been enough.
And the bad part about it is, Sunshine, he could have gotten killed. All because he didn't want to comply. That's the point I'm making. You're talking to my talking point. He could have easily gotten killed. And he was dead wrong. No license. Weed in the car. A knife in the car. No headlights. Resisting arrest. He could have easily got killed. Those were all bad decisions that didn't have nothing to do with the police, no racist white man, no nothing. It had to do with his bad decisions, and he could have easily been killed. The point I'm making. You didn't even have to get your window busted out. You didn't even have to get in that car with a suspended license. But that was a decision the white man made you make, right?
Another reason.
The white man made you make that dumbass decision, right? I made that dumbass decision many times. But guess what? I took my dumbass to jail too. Never been tased, never been beat up, never been punched in the face by no police officer. None of that. I took my dumbass to jail. I went on probation, did my community service, whatever. But never resisted arrest. But that's just me though. I'm 47 years old. Never had a fight with a police officer. Never been jumped on by no police. Take my dumb ass to jail. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
That this deputy made the stop in the first place, even though he doesn't say that.
You can live at home and take care of your mother, and you can get paid by having a regular paycheck.
And of course, they're going bumper to bumper to try to prevent the suspect car from making an effort to leave, right? He's non-compliant. He's in the driver's seat. He's in control of his Kia. They don't want this to turn into a chase.
Sir, it's your last warning to open the vehicle and exit before we're going to break the window. Open the door and exit, or we are going to break the window. Open the door and exit, or we are going to break the window.
So they've asked.
Multiple warnings. Multiple warnings. Multiple warnings. They didn't just walk up to this nigga car and just start beating this nigga up. They ain't started that. Man, come on now. This is what I be talking about. Like, no, if it was the white man, they wouldn't have, man. They didn't just walk up to this nigga car and just start fucking this nigga up. That's what I be talking about. They didn't just, they're giving fucking directions that he's ignoring. He's choosing to ignore the commands. But then we want to jump to if it was the white man this, the white man, woo. Multiple. Gave you multiple chances. And you chose to be defiant. And you're in the wrong, my nigga. You're wrong, nigga. Your window wouldn't have got bust out. You wouldn't have got punched in the face. And then once you did, they got you out the car. You resisted arrest. You were already resisting arrest without being physical. You're already resisting arrest. They told you outside the car, you are now under arrest. They hadn't even broke your window yet. When they told you outside the car, you were under arrest. You made a decision to sit your ass in that car and argue with these niggas. And then they bust your shit out and punched you in the face and drug your ass out the car. Even while they were dragging you out the car, you still resisted, nigga. I'm not burning down my, good luck with that case. Good luck. I didn't see excessive force in my eyes. In my eyes.
Asked for driver's license, registration, insurance, and McNeil just says no. He refuses to comply with a legal duty. He has a legal duty to provide those documents when demanded in the course of a traffic stop, regardless of the reason for the traffic stop, regardless of whether the traffic stop he believes is legitimate or not. That's not argued at the side of the road. He has to provide those documents. He's refused. Now that he's refused, he's subject to arrest. You don't just get to say no. I'm not providing my driver's license, and the cop lets you go.
I mean, you can say what
if you're
you want.
non-compliant with your legal obligations at the traffic stop, you
can say what you want. But it's consequences. It's gonna be consequences. You can say what you want. No, I ain't giving you shit, nigga. I ain't giving you. Get the fuck away from my car, officer. You can say what you want. That's a decision. That's a fucking decision to say what you want. You can argue all day with the fucking police officer on the side of the road. That's a decision. That's a decision. That's a decision.
at the side of the road. He has to provide those documents. He's refused. Now that he's refused, he's subject to arrest. You don't just get to say no. I'm not providing my driver's license, and the cop lets you go. If you're non-compliant with your legal obligations at the traffic stop, you're subject to arrest, and they're telling him they're going to arrest him. Now he's locked himself in his car. They can use the force necessary to secure the arrest. That's going to involve breaking the window.
Okay.
Do I have a right to break the window if I just walk up to somebody's car that they're sitting in and break the window? If a civilian did this, would he?
Now we're listening to an attorney break this down. The attorney is saying the same way the police officer, Officer Tatum, said we have the right to break that window. We do have the right to do it. You have an attorney, not an officer. You now have a legal attorney telling you the same thing. They have the right to bust that window out. Good luck with that case. Good luck with that case, my dude. Good luck.
Of breaking the window. Do I have a right to break the window if I just walk up to somebody's car that they're sitting in and break the window? Comply with a legal duty. He has a legal duty to provide those documents when demanded in the course of a traffic stop, regardless of the reason for the traffic stop, regardless of whether the traffic stop he believes is legitimate or not. That's not argued at the side of the road. He has to provide those documents. He's refused. Now that he's refused, he's subject to arrest. You don't just get to say no. I'm not providing my driver's license, and the cop lets you go. If you're non-compliant with your legal obligations at the traffic stop, you're subject to arrest, and they're telling him they're going to arrest him. Now he's locked himself in his car. They can use the force necessary to secure the arrest. That's going to involve breaking the window.
He locked himself in the car. He locked himself in the car. Yeah, you can get that window busted. He locked himself inside the car. We told you you're under arrest. What up? What up, Candy? Is that not making sense to anybody else but me? He locked him. We said you're under arrest at this point. We told you to open the door multiple times. You chose not to. You made a decision not to. Not only did you chose to close the door back, you locked the door. We got every right to bust that window out now. We ain't got time to play with you. We ain't got time to play with you, Negro. You gonna lock the door on us? No, nigga, we said get out the car, not back in the car. And then you gonna lock the door on us? You just gonna lock the door on us, nigga? All right, we get this window busted out and get punched in your face then. Oh, and then you still gonna resist. You hard-headed. You gonna resist arrest too? I mean, come on, y'all. Like, y'all finna burn y'all city down? Y'all finna go to the back for this? I'm not.
Do I have a right to break the window? If I just walk up to somebody's car that they're sitting in and break the window, if a civilian did this, would he be allowed to break the window? Probably not. There would need to be some additional bizarre circumstances that would justify my right to smash that window. But for a police officer, it's sufficient that he's authorized to make an arrest. And breaking the window is necessary to make the arrest. And here, this deputy is authorized to make this arrest as a function of McNeil refusing to provide the documents like a driver's license that he is legally obligated to provide. Can you guys see it? I'm going to make myself smaller here. Can you see the raindrops all over the car now? Right? They're on the door, they're on the door, they're on the window. So the car is covered in raindrops. The comment earlier that there's no raindrops in the car is just not true. And it'll be more obvious at other points.
I don't think the force was excessive. I don't think it was excessive force. I think they did exactly what they had to do to get that nigga out the car. He was resisting arrest, punched that nigga in his face. Hey, check that nigga chin, get him on the ground. Hey, yeah, I agree with what I saw on the Officer Tatum video. I'm good. I don't see excessive force. I see a nigga resisting arrest and getting his ass whooped. That's what I see. I see a nigga resisting fucking arrest and I've been arrested many times. It never took more than one officer to fucking put my hands behind my back. Never. And I've never been beaten up by a fucking police officer. Yeah, I don't think it was excessive.
No, he's under arrest. Open the door and exit. You are under arrest for resisting.
So there's only one way this ends now, right? Either the driver begins complying or violence is used to compel his compliance. Oh, the cops, there's no ending here where the cops just all decide, you know what, we changed our minds, we're all going home.
Facts.
Open the door and exit. You are under arrest for resisting.
His window is not busted out right here. You're already in the wrong again for resisting arrest. His glass is not busted right now. He has not been punched in his face. He has not been violated at this point. No, I'm not burning down my city. And no, I'm not. Nope, because this is a decision he is making right now. He could have fought this in court. If you thought they were wrong, you could have told him, hey, give me my ticket, woo, 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 or whatever. I'm going to fight this in court. I'm taking y'all to court.
Open the door and exit. You are under arrest for resisting. Open the door and exit. You are under arrest for resisting.
So this officer, this deputy, gives this command, I believe, 7 times. Open the door. You're under arrest. You're resisting.
Stop the video after each time in this story, because there was a decision to be made after every time they told him, 7 times they told him he was under arrest and he was resisting arrest and he needed to step out of the vehicle. 7 times they told him that. I'm good. I'm good, my nigga, because I complied. I complied, nigga. Like, and I ain't tell nobody to burn the city down behind me. And I ain't say, oh, the racist white man. Oh, you wouldn't do this to a white man if it was a white man. No, I didn't. I just went to fucking jail. I went to jail. I just went to jail.
I see a lot of great comments in the chat, folks, but they need to be $5 super chats in order to for me to address them during the live stream. That's the rule. Again, Mike says, no raindrops on windows, illegal stop. You should still comply, but it doesn't mean, oh, maybe I read that one already. Maybe it's not a replay. There are drops on the car, clearly.
Yes, Sonya, he did close the door down.
Most people are too lazy to do this, but it saves.
So we're going to see more.
Yeah, LaDon, he's resisting. Okay, LaDon, so right here, he's non-violently resisting arrest. You have been told you are now under arrest for resisting. You're under arrest for resisting arrest or whatever. You have been told, and they ain't broke your window yet. So when people get to crying, oh, this is so wrong, there were decisions this guy could have made. I'm not finna fucking tear up my city and go to bat for this nigga making bad decisions. And from what I saw, nigga, you locked your door, nigga, and they bust your window out because you locked your door. One bust your window out, the other one punched you in the face. As Officer Tatum said, they are allowed to do to get you off balance so they can get you out that car. This is a tactic they do, a diversionary, the one that said it's called a diversionary tactic. She's in law enforcement, or she has worked in law enforcement. She said it's called a diversionary tactic. So they're allowed to use that. Yeah, it's called diversionary tactics. They're allowed to tase you. If they bust that window out and they tase them with that gun, they're allowed to do that. You should have just got the fuck out the car, and your window wouldn't have got busted out. Get out the car. I don't see excessive force. I don't see it.
More deputies show up.
I see a nigga resisting arrest and got his ass whooped.
So right now, you can't see it here, but right now there's another deputy, the deputy who arrived in this car. We see here, who's on the passenger side of the car. McNeil has lowered the rear window on the passenger side a couple inches. And the deputy on that side is talking very reasonably with McNeil. We'll see his body-worn camera footage of that other deputy in a moment. Amazing Disgrace says, police show too much tolerance for this behavior. That's how this has become so common to begin with. Well, police, like all of us, respond to incentives. Thanks for the $5, Amazing Grace. Police conduct themselves in accordance with how their institution trains and allows them and disciplines them to conduct. We see plenty of Ferguson effect departments where the police basically don't do anything because they've been trained to not do anything. They're punished if they're proactive in law enforcement. This cop is being subject to some punishment right now. We'll see when we look at the sheriff's press office statement video. He's suffering negative consequences right now. Not very serious negative consequences. He's not being criminally charged. That's already off the table, so that's good for the deputy. But he is suffering sanctions at the moment. And he may be facing additional administrative, job-related sanctions for his use of force choices here. And so every other cop in that department sees that, the more negative consequences this deputy suffers, the less likely these other officers, the other deputies in the sheriff's office, are likely to engage in similar conduct. And if you think the conduct was wrong, then you think that's a good thing. And if you think the conduct is necessary to maintain order at a traffic stop, you think it's a bad thing. But police are not their own actors. They have bosses. They work for superior officers. They work for a department. They work for the city. They work for the government. And they are subject to administrative and legal sanction if they do things that others perceive to have been wrong. Jonathan Ogle says, note the arriving police car does not have its lights on. Again, it doesn't appear to be raining right now, but obviously it was raining. So when this deputy made the decision to stop McNeil, it might have been raining. Rain in Florida starts and stops very quickly. It's not like New England, where it's like a gradual onset. It's a drizzle, and then it gets heavier and heavier, and then it gets lighter and lighter and lighter. Rain in Florida can often be very much like an on-off switch.
I wonder if this attorney is from Florida or frequents Florida. Well, DeWanda is in here in the chat. She's from Florida. I guess she can tell you how the rain, how the rain happens down there in Florida. Whoever else is here from Florida. Hey, can you feed them dogs for me, please? And let them out. Maybe they can tell y'all how the rain happens. Because we get it like that here in Atlanta too. It could be raining 1 minute and then it'll stop, and then you'll go down the street and you'll run right into a whole storm down 85 or something. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know how it is in Florida. I don't be there enough to know how it goes in Florida.
So it's quite possible Deputy Bowen saw McNeil in the rain without his lights on, made the stop, and then the rain stopped. Once the rain stopped, maybe you're no longer required to have your lights on, and this cop car doesn't. But even if the cop car was also breaking that law, that doesn't mean that McNeil gets a get out of jail free card. It's got nothing to do with McNeil. Okay, back here. So we have more deputies showing up.
Hey, I'm about to break the window.
By the way, we'll see that once all the deputies arrive, about half of them roughly appear to be black males themselves.
I'm about to break a window. All right, go for it. Exit the vehicle now. Exit the vehicle. Show me your hands. Here.
By the way, they would later find a large knife on the floorboard at the driver's feet in this car. I don't believe they're aware of the presence of that knife now, or guns would be out. So I don't think they discover the knife or aware of the knife until after the handcuffing has been accomplished. But that's why they want to see the hands.
Facts.
Because the cops know from experience and training that, you make a traffic stop. If the bad guy's got a weapon, it could be on his person. It could be accessible within the vehicle. That's why it's so important to see his hands. He's not just walking down the sidewalk, where you'd also like to see his hands, but he's in a vehicle where things like weapons tend to be secreted.
What is your reason? No, don't forget. Put your hands behind your back.
All right, so I want to show you how long this is actually going on. This is 4:27 now in this video. So when did it start? They get the door open. They drag him out. Okay, that's 4:15. So 4:27 is 12 seconds. 12 seconds of hands-on use of force by these officers. And then what do the officers do? Is this a sustained beating like Rodney King with batons? Or do they immediately stop? And by the way, you notice the suspect still wants to have a conversation. What did I do? What did I do? I didn't do nothing.
No. He's saying no. Nigga, you're resisting. No means no. I'm not getting on the ground. I'm not putting my hands behind the back. You're resisting then, nigga. Like you killing your own case.
Put your hands on that. Resist. Hands behind your back.
Cuffs are on. It's over. You hear the click?
What's wrong with you? What you mean? I was putting my hands behind my back.
I don't see that,
man. Ain't no talking.
There's no talking now.
I don't see the excessive force. Nope, I don't. I don't see it. I don't see it.
Hey everyone, we're having our
I'm
biggest
sorry,
sale
y'all.
ever on our
I don't see
award-winning
it.
meat sticks. So today, for a limited time, you can get.
Put your hands on that. Resist. Hands behind your back.
All right, so I want to show you how long this is actually going on. This is 4:27 now in this video. So when did it start? They get the door open. They drag him out. Okay, that's 4:15. So 4:27 is 12 seconds. 12 seconds of hands-on use of force by these officers. And then what do the officers do? Is this a sustained beating like Rodney King with batons? Or do they immediately stop? And by the way, you notice the suspect still wants to have a conversation. What did I do? What did I do? I didn't do nothing.
No, don't forget. Get on the ground. Put your hands on that. Resist. Hands behind your back.
Cuffs are on. It's over. You hear the click?
What's wrong with you? What you mean? I was putting my hands behind my back. I was going to walk now, man. Ain't no talking.
There's no talking now. There was a time for talking. The time for talking was when you were asked for your driver's license and registration and insurance, and you were legally obligated to turn that over. The time for talking is over once you've met the conditions for being subject to lawful arrest.
What's going on, man? You're under arrest.
Look, there's that body damage I was telling you about the front of the Kia. There's lots of dents all over this car.
Yes, bro. No reason, bro. You gonna throw my phone like that, bro? Yeah, I'm gonna take it off now, man.
Yeah, the cops had to go to the street too. They're on the asphalt too. We may see some of them got scrapes and cuts on their hands and so forth. They don't want to have to fight with somebody. They'd rather just have a day where nothing much happens.
And I'm just trying to have a real conversation with y'all.
You just gotta see what
And by the way, the reason
he said, I'm just trying to have a regular conversation with y'all. Fuck out of here, bro. Nigga, you done made me wrestle with y'all. We ain't having no fucking conversation. Fuck out of here, nigga. I'm just trying to have a regular conversation with y'all, nigga. I said, get out the fucking man. Get the fuck out of here.
The cops are using overwhelming force like this is precisely to avoid the Christopher Shore situation. The cop up in Michigan who did a traffic stop had a one-on-one fight with a much larger, stronger suspect who was gaining control of the officer's weapons, and the officer ultimately was compelled to shoot and kill that suspect. He was criticized at trial by the state's expert for you should have waited for backup. If you waited for backup, you have overwhelming force, and it's less likely you have to escalate to deadly force. So you use overwhelming non-deadly force for the safety of the suspect and the officers. It's safer to do it this way than to be tentative. Once you've decided to make the arrest of a non-compliant suspect, you want to secure that arrest as quickly and non-lethally as possible, in part to avoid the necessity of having to escalate to deadly force. And by the way, there's resisting with violence and there's resisting without violence. They're both resisting.
Facts.
If you're physically fighting the cops, you're resisting with violence. That's a more serious criminal offense because you're threatening to inflict injury on the police. But if all you do is lay on your stomach on the ground and pull your arms and elbows inside under your body, so it's difficult for the police to grab your arms and handcuff you for arrest, you are still resisting. That's still a crime. You're not committing acts of violence on the police, but you are still committing the crime of resisting nonviolently. You have a legal duty. We all have a legal duty to comply with lawful arrest, even if the arrest is wrong. That's determined later in another forum.
Your partner didn't even act. Marijuana in the right pocket. Yes, it is. So why close the door?
So they found the marijuana in his right pocket, under 20 grams, I believe it was. And he would be charged for the marijuana possession and take a plea deal on the marijuana possession.
If you see him pull up, because, man, what you It's called resisting, idiot.
He's talking about arresting me. I didn't do nothing wrong. Now, I don't know. Is it possible that this guy, is he so stupid? Are they so misinformed that they don't understand that they have a legal duty to present their license and registration?
I don't know. Who going to war for this? Y'all raise your hand if you going to war for this nigga. Put a 1 in the chat if you riding for this nigga. Like, I'm just, put a 2 in the chat if you ain't. If you ain't about to go tear your city down and get all emotionally involved behind this nigga, I'm gonna be the first one to put a 2 in the chat. I am not, nigga. I am not, nigga. Real shit. I am not. Make better choices, brother. Make better choices. I am not. You got me fucked up. I'm not fighting behind this. And this ain't it. If we gonna stand up for somebody, this ain't it. This ain't it. Good luck with that case, brother. Good luck with that case. Good luck with that fucking case.
Do they really not understand that they're not allowed to resist lawful orders, to be non-compliant? Do they not understand that non-violent resistance is still a crime? That they're required to submit to lawful arrest? Could they be that dumb? Or are they acting maliciously? I mean, those of us who kind of inherently understand these legal obligations, we see this and we're like, well, this guy's just making crap up. But maybe in his head, he thinks he's really entitled to have a conversation with the police and talk his way out of an arrest. Maybe he thinks he's entitled to be non-compliant. Maybe he thinks he's entitled to demand a supervisor, and a supervisor has to be brought to him. That doesn't justify anything he's doing. We're all still required to obey the law, whether we properly understand the law or not. But it suggests to me that someone's doing a grotesque disservice to these young black men if they're being raised to believe these things that could readily result in their death. I mean, this traffic stop could have gone way worse.
Could have gone way worse. Big Dog Philly OG, what's happening with you, brother? What's happening? Yeah, could have went way worse. Just comply, my nigga. Yeah, like, this is all I'm saying. Better decisions, brother. Make better decisions. You started off wrong getting behind the wheel of that car with your license fucked up. You rolled that dice. That was a dice you rolled. I've rolled that dice too. And I done been pulled over. And I done went to jail behind rolling that same dice you rolled. So I can't find no sympathy in this.
If one of those cops had seen the knife on the floorboard during the process of pulling this guy out of the car when his hands were still free, he could well have been shot and killed. Lawfully shot and killed. If someone had reasonably perceived, even if mistakenly perceived, that he had dipped a hand to reach for that knife and they knew the knife was there, they would have lawfully shot him. He'd be dead now. Over what? Over a traffic stop that he ultimately took plea convictions to anyway?
Not over not complying. Huh? Over not complying. How about that? Fucking lost your life over not complying when you could have just went to jail, paid them fines, did your community service, took your probation, and got the fuck off.
I didn't do nothing wrong, sir. Can you back me up to the cops after me? You broke my.
And how fearful is he of these cops? He just asked them, hey, he's sitting on his butt on the street now. He asked them, can you back me up to the car so he can lean back against the car and be more comfortable? Does this strike you as someone who has a subjective belief that he's in mortal danger from these police officers? Now he's standing up. They're searching his pockets, of course, for weapons and such. And now they're going to search the vehicle. And this is where they finally see the knife. Now, I have to say, in the second body-worn camera, there is a segment where...
oh, he had the knife on his person? Yo, that's even. He had the knife on his person? Yo, I ain't even know that. Wow. Wow. Oh man, that's even more dangerous. That's deep.
They say they freeze frame in the press
Oh.
conference, like to show the knife. I have to be honest, I can't see a knife in that freeze frame. I see a bottle of water. Maybe it's just the resolution of the image, but I don't think anyone's seriously contesting that the knife was actually there.
Oh, the knife may have been in the car. Okay. Maybe when he said this is where they find the knife. Okay, maybe the knife is in the car.
You start rescue. Kid 67, approximately 30-year-old Bravo Mike, laceration to the left.
So now everyone has little lacerations and abrasions and contusions because this driver compelled them to go hands-on, to throw fists, to compel his compliance with lawful arrest. He just made it harder for everybody.
Thanks.
And frankly, the fact that the cops don't unlawfully exact retribution for this hassle just is to their credit. Obviously, they're not allowed to do that. They shouldn't. I can tell you, cops I knew in the 1970s would have given this guy a few extra for being this non-compliant, just for causing them trouble. Thankfully, these cops don't do that. They're not supposed to do that. They should be prosecuted if they do that. But they don't. They don't.
Thanks for watching this highlight segment of our.
All right, y'all. So I wanted to give y'all a perspective from a law enforcement perspective, you know, but I also wanted to take you to an attorney too. Now, there's a million law enforcement people who maybe don't agree with Officer Tatum, and there's a million people who might not agree with that attorney. All right. I agree with both Officer Tatum and that attorney. There were too many decisions that could have kept him from getting in that situation. And I just hate when people play on our emotions. They play on our emotions and they try to get us all riled up. Nigga, you went and did a press conference with that race baiting Ben Crump activist. You went and did a press conference trying to get us all riled up behind you, nigga. And you made hella bad decisions. I personally don't see excessive force on you. I saw a nigga resisting arrest and he got his ass whooped on. And I saw when you finally stopped resisting, they stopped too. So I don't see the excessive force. I think you made bad decisions, bro. The moment you decided to wake up and get behind that wheel of that car with your license fucked up, bad decision. Bad decision. That had nothing to do with the white man. That had nothing to do with no racist cops. That had every bit to do with your bad decision. The moment you didn't put no headlights on and you saw it was drizzling and raining and you didn't put a seatbelt on, bad decision. The moment you put the weed and the knife in the car, bad decision. Bad decision. That had nothing to do with no white man, no racist cops, no none of that, no none of that. Sorry. I don't agree. I don't see it. I don't see excessive force. You got that window busted out because you locked the doors. They told you were under arrest 7 times. You chose to non-violently resist arrest. Then once they bust your window out and bust you across the face, whether it was with a hand, palm punch, or it was with a punch, nigga, they are in their right to do it, according to an officer. They are in their right to throw you off by punching you in the face or tasing you with a gun to throw you off so they can get that door unlocked. Once they got you out that car, you still resisted arrest. So they threw your ass to the ground until you stop fighting. I don't see excessive force. Sorry. I'm sorry, y'all. I don't see it. I'm not jumping out the window behind this nigga. And I'm gonna say this. Good luck, my nigga, with that fucking court case. With that being said, I'm out of here, y'all. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.
DT the kid. Pray God not watching me. Arm to the T, suppressor on the carbon 15. Still not in the rapper conversations. I promise it don't bother me the least. Long as it ain't stopping me from eating. I've been chasing bread since a fetus. I was taught my Miranda rights before I learned the Pledge of Allegiance. Never flying Spirit or Allegiant unless I got my parachute packed. Fortunate I made it out the gutter. I promise I would never move back. All these bitches, I might need a nap. All these bitches, I might lose track. Ladies love me, I'm a cool cat. We just kick it, I'm a shoe rack. Pockets crippin' all these blue bags, but metaphorically I'm seeing green. Clientele tapping on the window and me and Piff was serving through the screen. Missing Piff, I hoped it was a dream. I woke up, you're still gone. They say time heals all. They never told me how long. Papa never popped up, mama had to raise me all on her own. Papa nothing but a coward, mama ain't made me all on her own. All that ever made me was more strong. Well, maybe just a little bitter. I done grown numb to it, no feelings. Guess we grow from it if it don't kill us. Raised by pimps, prostitutes, and killers, what can I say? I think drug dealing might as well be my family trade. I ain't have no maid when it got paid, now I got it made. Tomorrow's still not promised, all a nigga can do is pray. That God's not watching you. If he was, he'd be ashamed. You nothing but a disappointment, damn homie, you ain't nothing like you claim. You ain't no big homie. You been getting extorted, paying niggas off so they don't pick on you. You ain't causing havoc, you ain't about the action, you ain't got the stick on you. You and I are not the same, I take some pocket change out and put a hit on you. Sega 12 with the switch, fat ass shells looking like rigatoni. Life's a bitch and she sucks. I just tell it how it is, call it real spill, maybe I'm a klutz. I got all these babies yet, I ain't never gave 2 fucks. Call it hard work, call it dedication, never call it luck. I grew up without a maid, when it got paid, now I got it made. Tomorrow never was promised, all a nigga can do is pray. The God's not watching us. Nas kick the door, you know how it go, now we all fucked. Niggas stop the toilet up with the pounds, now it won't flush. We gon' all get taxed, cause you know scared niggas don't hush. Oh, what a nightmare, thank God I finally woke up. With somebody lady, now she talking crazy, told me keep in touch. With somebody lady, and I thought I loved her till I bust a nut. Then I snap back 5950, back to my senses, back to my mission, back to my business. She can't be my missus, I'ma kill that pussy, she a living witness. She gon' swear she miss me, but I know she kidding. Hold my heart frozen, I can't even feel it. Here's a cold shoulder, bitches getting chilly. Stacking my pennies, trying not to spend it, just to bring Scooby snacks to my kiddies. All my people eat, only way we living, we ain't got to worry. I know how to get it, call me Chef Carrot, I'ma keep the trays coming in my kitchen. Thank the chef in kitchen, put up double digits. You just busted dishes, those my only wishes. We don't waste a smidget, sipping on success, bad for my kidneys, so I gotta pass it like a Mike Bibby. On to my brother, then to my brother, then to my sister. Hope you get the picture. Long live Pill. DT the Kid.
You do. I wonder how life's been treating you these days. Are you happy with your life, baby? Are you okay? Did you ever get it perfect like you wanted? Or did you settle for some random nigga just to keep from being lonely? I really hope that you've been happy your way. Don't take this as no shade, but if you ain't happily married, then you should have stayed. Cause all that pressure that you put on me must have been for me and me only. I just wanna know if you feel like you made the right choice. Don't lie to me. Know you miss me, know you wish that you would've stayed around. Thought we were headed in the same direction, but you took another route. You took a whole nother route. Yeah. Memories, so many memories. We can't act like it was all bad. We can't act like it was all that. But somehow we stopped being happy. Lord knows we both with so much pressure on the family. We both know exactly how it happened, but how you doing? Wonder how life's been treating you these days. Are you happy with your life, baby? Are you okay? Did you ever get it perfect like you want it? Or did you settle for some random nigga just to keep from being lonely? They don't know our story. They don't know what we've been through. No. They're all on the outside looking in. Still gonna do what we want to. Yeah. Touchy conversations. A bunch of apologizing and explaining. Oh, but we live and we learn. Hey, I bet they ain't think that we would make it, but we overcame it. Shit ain't nothing to play with. Family over everything is still the same shit, and I wouldn't trade it for nothing. Nah. We've been through hell and back, but we're still standing. Standing on our teams. You know how we do it, we go all in. Yeah, it's us over everybody. That's why when there's trouble in paradise, these nosy motherfuckers wanna hear about it. Let's be clear about it. We don't make decisions based on their opinions. We can't expect nor can we make them see the vision. Long as we know the business, 'cause they don't know our story, no. No, they don't know what we've been through, no. Oh, no, they're all on the outside looking in. Hey, still gonna do what we want to. Listen, I come from the bottom, yeah, on God. I ain't never had shit. I come from the bottom. Oh God, I ain't never had shit. Look at me now. I almost gave up 1,000 times. I did. Yeah. I was robbing Peter, trying to pay Paul. Yeah, feeling like my back against the wall, but I made it through it all. Yeah, counting me out, but you should've known when I needed you. Left me for dead. Sent a text, but you left me on red. Yeah, I know what it is, I know what it ain't. Hey, it's for all them niggas who told me I can't. Listen, I come from the bottom. Yeah, oh God. I ain't never had shit. I come from the bottom. Oh God, yeah, I ain't never had shit. Look at me now. I almost gave up 1,000 times. I did in a minute since I've been in it. Shit go way back to elementary. Remember singing in my graduation. I believe I can fly. Almost let the devil steal my dreams like a thief in the night, yeah. But look at me now, yeah. I've been working, I've been putting it down. I done came a long, long way. I jumped in a whole nother lane. I come from the bottom, oh God. I ain't never had shit, I come from the bottom, yeah. I ain't never had shit. Look at me now, I almost gave up 1,000 times.